Black Alpha Network. Power to the people.
All right, hey, peace, family. We're going to pull up. We're going to break it down today. As always, we're about to address some of these Democratic shills. We about to address the diaspora. Anybody who got some smoke for foundational Black Americans is getting G-check. We're going to put them all on the line today. We're going to go down this list one by one. I'm waiting for some people to file in, but, you know, we ain't got time to waste, so we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about Luke, Roland Martin, all these, you know, Caribbean folks, all these African folks, everybody who's got a problem with foundational Black Americans, in particular the Democratic shills. We're going to get them. They on the list. That's what's going to have to happen today because everybody sees we trending all across the board. Foundational Black Americans is trending. Literally, foundational Black American, that's trending. FBA is trending. FBAs with an S on it is trending. I seen Blacks was trending earlier. Tariq Nasheed, our brother, he's trending as well. Reparations is trending. ADO West is trending. All these things are trending right now, and it's all based upon, you know, the energy that we got going, the momentum that we got going, and everybody is scared to the core, and they know it. Midterms is rolling around, and we G-checking every last one of them. So people been seeing these spaces that they got. I see them like every day. They got a new space. I seen Luke Campbell, his mush mouth ass, Roland Martin, his ass having spaces. But you see, they got to come into our world now. They got to come on down to where we at, and they trying to, you know, bring smoke in our direction. Roland Martin, this guy went from CNN to Twitter Spaces. And it shows you that they got to find where we're at so they can kind of try to bring that energy towards us because they know they can't really counteract it in a real situation in a real life because we got all the momentum. Trust me, everything that they're doing right now and everything that they feeling is what we've been seeing. We've been seeing that foundational Black Americans is coming. We're talking about putting a rally together so we can, you know, galvanize, we can mobilize, we can get our stuff in. These are the things that are coming up. Brother Tariq said, he said, as soon as we start talking about a rally, you're going to start seeing the shills come out. And I'm starting to see shills left. Some of these people I don't even know. Like that Steven whatever guy that be hanging under Luke and all that. Never heard that guy in my life, but he's a shill. The other chick, whatever the fuck, Tamara, Tara, or whatever the fuck, she's a shill. Seen her, never heard of this woman before in my life. From what I seen is I heard that she tried to run for some type of office, couldn't even get on the ballot. So this is what they're doing. They're trying to find new people out the blue. They're trying to just make things up because they really are working with nothing. They're working with nothing at all. And this is what it is. So all eyes are on foundational Black Americans. And we've done came a long way from the days of the African American. You know, the African American, that was somebody they could play with. The African American was somebody that they could hustle and con. That was Edmund Pettis Bridge. That was good trouble. That doesn't exist anymore, and they don't know what to do about it. They stuck. They're in a position where, you know, they're trying to make, you know, their counters against us, and they just can't do it. They can't do it. So it doesn't really matter. At this point, all we got to do is stay laser focused, keep on bringing that heat, and keep putting pressure on them. Keep putting pressure on them. The way you counter all that, I don't even get mad. When I see them have their little spaces against us and they all do all that babbling and shit, I don't even get mad at that because I look at that as a sign of desperation. They're desperate right now. They wish that they could have the momentum that we got. You know, these tethers are upset because we're not allowing them to tether onto us no more. And when you don't let somebody tether onto you, this is the type of energy that you receive. So therefore, they're coming at us with all this energy. It's to the point where they're conspiring against each other. You know what I mean? You got the Boulets teaming up with the tethers and the Democrats, the minorities, the POCs. It takes all of those people right there just to come at one group. You know what I'm saying? This is what you tell. So everybody understands this lineage is specific. This lineage is strong. They're trying to label us all these different things that they cannot. And foundational Black Americans is on it. This is our era. I tell everybody, this is truly the foundational Black American era. Anybody who's old enough to remember just, 10 years ago, the Yes We Can era, this is completely different. Completely different. And this is what happens when you label yourself. This is what happens when you represent your lineage, your culture, and your heritage. People cannot break you. They cannot shake you. And this is where we got them right now. We're going to keep them right there. So anybody who's got a problem with foundational Black Americans, they're going to find out what it is. They understand that if they come at us, out of pocket, off code, they're going to see what it's really about. And we're just going to keep the energy going. That's just what it is, and nothing to change. So, we're going to get it on it, today, and everybody's going to see what time it is. I got a speaker already, so I want everybody to talk. I want everybody. We don't do that muting and all that shit. No, we let everybody rock. We let everybody say their piece because that's the only way we're going to stay on code. I see Roy Rich. Go ahead, family.
I'm just listening, brother. I'm just listening and enjoying all of this lovely black unity that we getting, even with all the drama and the fighting and infighting and everything. But I'm just listening, taking it all in.
Hey, yes, indeed, family. Hey, much respect, much respect. Hey, and I got to say this, though. A lot of times when they see us and they see us moving and they see the energy that we on, they try to send all these divisive people at us. They understand that the only way they could ever try to bring us down is by doing sneak tactics, by coming at us, sideways and coming at us indirectly. People know when you come up to the foundational Black American doorstep, first off, you better wipe your feet when you step to our door. That's real. And then second, they tried to throw in all these different things. Now they're trying to say that we're a hate group. That's the kind of new play that's on. You notice that, right? They're trying to say we're a hate group, this, that, and the other.
Right.
And the reason why they're trying to say that we're a hate group is because once you label somebody as a group, now you can play with it. Now you can do anything you please. That's what they do to these record labels. These rappers that have record labels and they say that's a group. That's not a record label. That's not a business. That's a group. So now they can bring in the recos. You understand what I'm saying, man?
Exactly. And the thing is, and I be trying to let my people know, some things we need to just be quiet on and let people just talk, because they know what they're doing, but some of us are green and don't know. Some of us from the street, we know. And it's like, hey, you got to be careful with what you're saying and how you're saying it, because these people want to egg you on. They want you to say something. They want you to get in Twitter jail. They want you to do a whole lot of things, but, you just get so caught up in the emotion sometimes. We just think we at home, and it's just, we on the street. We gonna say what we feel.
Hey, that's a fact, brother. That's a fact. And I tell everybody, when people say the streets, they think you're talking about, gangster stuff and gangbanging a lot. The streets are everywhere. Last time I checked, there's a street everywhere in this world. There's a street going down, and you feel me? You learn so many valuable lessons, in particular when you start talking about the dominant society and the games they play. If you a street person or you got any street background and you affiliated in any aspect, then you understand the same shit that they try to pull on us as a lineage is the same things that they try to pull on just your regular person in the street. They try to railroad you.
Right.
They try to humbug you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They try to deceive you. To try to send us in those type of directions. So as we can see an op, and that's what it's really all about, family. I can tell already, you know what I'm talking about. It's about identifying these ops, these agents, where they are, where they coming from.
Right.
And right now, Foundational Black Americans, every time you turn around, there's a different op, there's a different agent coming at us from all different backgrounds. We got agents and ops coming from way in the diaspora. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got folks calling us on their tether phones, and they get one phone call a year, and they calling us trying to, harass our Twitter spaces and disrupt us. The Democrats are saying some of these people are well paid.
Exactly.
Some of these people are well paid, and some of them do it for free.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And I just want the family to know it's about economics. These people understand the money, the economic base of it. They know. A lot of us, we just kind of learning as we go, and we're not understanding. We're talking about millions and billions of dollars that this government owes us that they getting. That's why the Hispanics understand that. The Africans that come here, they all know, but they got to play dumb. They got to play the game, but they're not going to tell you because they know it's part of your money.
Hey, that's a good point, family. That's a good point. Economics is all in this situation. This is solely an economic situation. They're trying to prevent our economics, and they're trying to build other people's economics. And at the same time, these people are being subsidized to come after us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The more money they can take for us, the more money they can put on other people's plates.
Exactly. And I just tell people, I live in California. And I tell people all the time, and my battery running low, so I might be gone. But I tell people all the time, how is it Hispanics can set up Mexican stands on the public sidewalk, but we can't sell a damn hot dog? And I tell them, look around. Right. Think about what's going on. Somebody's allowing this to happen. If you go put a skillet and a hot plate and some meat on the public sidewalk, the police gonna come over and shut you down immediately. If you black, but they can put chairs up, coverings, whole kitchens, ain't nothing said. And we just, unfortunately, in California, we overran. I ain't gonna lie to you. We overran. And when we fighting, but they got it. And I
was going to ask you the situation out there, brother, because I was out in Cali a few years ago, and I noticed exactly what you're talking about, family. How are brothers and sisters, comprehending that? Are brothers and sisters heading the clouds? Are there a few of us? Are there a lot of us who understand it? Who's on code? Who's not, family?
Okay, well, I'm in Southern California, so I don't know about Northern California. I know there's a lot of groups, but it's sparse over here, over there. You got to find who's who, and look around and see what's going on. But where I lived, which is right next to Compton, it's all taken over. Put it like this: in Southern California, there is not one city, not one, that's 50% Black population. Not one. And that's serious. And I've been telling people that from day one. Hey, man, you guys looking at the census? You guys looking at what's going on? We don't have a 50% population in one city in Southern California. The only one holding on is the city called Inglewood. That's the only one. It's like 48, 49% Black population. But they getting hit too.
Wow. How long has it been going on like that, family? For quite some time now?
Shit. Man, okay, look, check out. I'm 52 years old. When my family moved here from Louisiana, it was predominantly all Black. In the late 1990s, it began a wash. And they started moving in, and it was like, God damn it, what the hell? Then the next thing you know, they took over politics, took over small cities, mayors, school boards, and when they come in, they look out for their people first. And I'm letting them know, if you live anywhere else in the country and you have a small enclave of Hispanics or Mexicans, as we call them, they are coming to take over. That's a guarantee. And like I tell people, this ain't about if my friend Jose. I like my friend Jose. It's bigger than me and Jose. It's a group of people who are running this, not just Jose. And people get it misconstrued that, oh, well, I know a Mexican. I ain't talking about your Mexican. I'm talking about the whole conglomerate. I'm talking about La Raza. I'm talking about the Asian community. All of them play the same game. The only ones not playing is us. And let me say one more thing, because like I said, my battery's low. The Asians out here still have a gripe about the LA riots and them losing all of their swap meets in our neighborhoods. They still have a gripe to this day. And that's all I got to say, brother. I don't know what the saying is. I'm going to land my plane or whatever it is, but that was just, I'm glad to get that off my chest. Thank you.
Hey, all the time, family. Anytime you see one of my spaces, man, call up, man. I always want to know what's going on, brother. Appreciate that.
For sure.
Hey, that's what I tell everybody. That's what I tell folks. All my Atlanta people know what I'm talking about. They're doing the same thing, in Atlanta, all across the 50 states. They're trying to bring in all these different groups right now. They're trying to slide everybody in so they can try to push foundational Black Americans out. It's the same thing they did in the past. It's the same exact thing they did in the past. They used to try to take foundational Black Americans, and they would move us out, and they would slide new groups in. These are the things that they've always tried to hey, brother Roy Rich, I got to have you meet the mic, family.
Hold on.
Hey, I gotta have you mute yourself, man. Unless you want to drop down.
Say again, sir.
Oh, I gotta have you mute your mic, man, or drop down.
Okay.
Much love, though. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the main aspect of what we're talking about here, for everybody who's pulling into the room, is that foundational Black Americans on every aspect and every spectrum of our society are being targeted. And it's a targeting like never before, because we on code like never before. The more we get on code in a serious fashion, the more they get real serious with the games that they throw at us. And they're desperate. They're reaching into their trick bag right now, family, and they scraping up their knuckles because they don't have anything left. There's literally nothing left for them to try to do on foundational Black Americans. The first Black, we don't play that no more. All the Democratic shields, vote blue no matter who, we done ran that out the game. All that flat Blackness, we ran that out the game. That we got to get rid of Donald Trump, ran that out of the game. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they have record low numbers. They're looking at their numbers right now and they're terrified. When we present our brother Marcel Dixon, they're completely terrified because now they're like, damn, the foundational Black Americans, they're going to go get their own candidates because they was getting bold. They were getting real bold. They was running around here and openly telling us, oh, we ain't gonna do nothing for y'all. So we did what foundational Black Americans always do. We made a G move. We said, okay, if the establishment's not gonna do anything for us, then guess what we gonna do? We gonna do something for our damn self. Now, mind you, we have a whole lineage and a whole culture based on doing things for ourselves. So we said, okay, you guys don't want to give us real policies, then we're gonna create one. Reparations, tangibles. Then you guys don't want to give us a real politician. Well, okay, we'll go get one. Our brother Marcel, and there's plenty more that are being groomed right now. You guys don't want to give us real news and real, media. Then we said, okay, we'll tell you what, we're gonna have new Black media, and that's our brother Tariq. That's our brother Professor Black. That's Jason Black. That's my brother Afro Elite. That's me, myself, and a bunch of more brothers. We have countered everything. We're being self-sufficient and truly independent. And now all eyes are on us. Trust me. The reason we've been trending like we've been trending the last couple of days is because we are on everybody's radar. Everybody knows foundational Black Americans are in the building. We are in the place, and everybody knows they're going to have to deal with us. And once we got strong, once we got real thorough, and we start knocking all the bullshit to the side and get rid of all these fake terms and these fake politicians and these shills, that let everybody know, wow, we can't hustle these people. This is not the Edmund Pettus Bridge era. This is not the Good Trouble era. This is not the Yes We Can era. This is not even the I Had a Dream era. This is the B1 era. We are Black first, truly, and everyone understands that. So therefore, everyone is shaking in their boots. So this is why we're trending left and right. This is why they keep talking about it. This is why Luke, with his mush mouth ass, keeps having these spaces. Roland Martin, 2 Live Coons. That's why they're saying everything, and this is why they're bringing up new people. And every last one of them that they bring up, we're rejecting. So it truly is all eyes on FBA. And if they hate us now, just wait till tomorrow, because we get bigger and stronger. But I got to bring in my brother Afro Elite, my co-host. This brother right here is thorough, 100%. We bring that heat all the time. We represent the new Black media. So all the old Black media, they are gone. It's over with for them. Their asses is laying down, sitting down, and out the game. And it's all about us right now. So here's my brother Afro Elite. Go ahead, family.
First off, I want to give a shout out to the host, Black Alpha. You guys definitely need to check out his YouTube. Shout out to his co-host, Queen Alpha, and shout out to everybody in the room. If you guys could please share so we can get as many people in there. This is going to be the best space of today. I know there's going to be other spaces today, and no diss, but this is going to be the space of today. So you guys definitely want to, you guys definitely want to make sure you guys share the room. And to piggyback off of everything Black Alpha said, he's 100% correct. For the longest time, we've been trying to play by their rules. We've been told that, okay, well, they make the rules. We just got to find a way to finesse the system from the inside. And when we get this one guy in, it'll be like the spook who sat by the door, and somebody will change the minds, the hearts of white people. That's what we need to do. We just need to play by the rules until we can change and convert the hearts of white people to make them oppress us less. We want to convince them not to subjugate us. We want to convince them not to be the oppressors. We want to convince them to take down the racial hierarchy that they've established across the world. And we've been doing that because that's what other generations have been telling us to do. That's what other people have been telling us to do. Hell, that's what white people have been telling us to do. And now in this era, we're like, you know what? If we're going to do this, we're going to do this our way. That's why we came up with Foundation Black Americans. Foundation Black Americans, we're doing something that's never been done before, not even in the Civil Rights era. Because in the Civil Rights era, they were still making mistakes. In the Civil Rights era, they were still like, well, integration and black and brown, and, well, we want to sit with you guys, and we don't want, I mean, at the end, we do know Dr. King was advocating for reparations. But I want you to understand that this era, this time that we're in right now, this time is more thorough. This time is more vetted. This time is more legit than a lot of people in the Civil Rights era. The moves that we're making now is setting the precedent for the future, so much so that you have people like, what's his name? King Luke, Uncle Luke, Grandpa Luke, you know, whatever his name is, Luther, whatever. He can barely talk, and they're pushing him out there. Do you see how desperate that is? They're making him co-host Spaces. This dude's never been on Spaces. Roland Martin's never been on Spaces. That's because YouTube isn't working out for him. If these people were winning, you wouldn't see them pulling these desperate tactics, these Hail Mary tactics. I want you to understand, Kamala Harris, that's a Hail Mary tactic. Ketanji Brown Jackson, that's a Hail Mary tactic. Uncle Luke, Roland Martin, all of these people are Hail Mary tactics. And if you guys know anything about Hail Mary, that's the last play you can make. That is the last play you can make. There's no play after Hail Mary. Okay, yeah, you got Ketanji Brown Jackson in. It won't happen again. You got Kamala in, allegedly. I still have questions on whether that was legit or not, but that won't happen again. Joe Biden, hell no, that will never happen again. It really shouldn't have happened the first time. All of these Hail Mary tactics shows their desperation, which shows the fact that we're actually turning the scale. We're actually changing things. So I definitely got to say this. This is a great space. Shout out to Foundation Black Americans. We're trending for a reason.
That's that. Hey, that's that real 100% fact right there. I love how Brother Afro just said that. Hail Mary is the last play of the game. They have nothing left. It is just a heave of desperation. And all that is desperation. When they coming into our spaces and stuff, that is desperation. They wouldn't be doing any of that if they were, winning right now, if they were in charge. Because we know when coons are having it their way, they kiki in and ha-ha and their teeth are showing. They just happy coons. Right now, they throwing tether temper tantrums. They throwing coon temper tantrum, bootlicks. They all having temper tantrums right now. And this is what it is. They're calling these people up on their coon phones. They dialing 1-800-COON. Roland Martin's answering. He's beep, beep, beeping all over the goddamn phone. Uncle Luke Mushmouth ass, he's answering. He's stuttering, fumbling, bumbling. And they're saying, how can we prevent foundational Black Americans from doing what they're doing? Because they are getting way too strong. People got to understand, I want the family to know this. They spend literally trillions of dollars to try to prevent us from doing exactly what we're doing right now. They've been spending it for years trying to get us to not represent ourselves. See, when we call ourselves foundational Black Americans, and there's power in terms, when we say foundational Black Americans, that gives us true light to who we are. That means we built this country. We're indigenous to this country. This is our land. When they say African American, which they're so hard trying to get us to, use that term, that basically means we're their little pet. Like they adopted us or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we're their little lapdog. And when we rejected that term, and I don't know how anybody was ever running around using that term. I've never used that term ever. Maybe when I was a little child and I knew no better. But once I understood at a young age, I rejected that term. I said, how the fuck am I an African American and I'm not from Africa? We all been saying that. 99% people in this room have been saying that from day one. Well, guess what? Now we're saying that and we got people to back it. There's other ones out here. And this is why these Twitter spaces are so thorough and they're so healthy, because we can, exchange notes. We can deal with each other and say, damn, I was thinking that over here on the West Coast. Like my brother Roy, who was just speaking a minute ago. You got people over here on the East Coast. My brother Afro in the Midwest. We can all say, man, we've been on the same page a long time. We just didn't, see each other. Now we can all see each other. We can all build. And when this FBA rally happens in Washington, D.C., it's really going to go down because we really going to have some certified brothers and sisters in the same place. And as I said, if they're afraid now, they're really going to be afraid. So they've been spending so much money to try to derail us and try to disrupt us and try to, get us not to represent our lineage. It's to the point now where you're starting to literally see white folks embracing RBG. Are they embracing RBG because they care? Do they really give a damn? Or are they embracing it so they can try to push us off to that? See, back in the old days, they would have never, ever came down that alley. Never. But now they're starting to say, well, put up the RBG flag. Go ahead, wave that. Why don't y'all go back home to Africa? Africa's waiting on y'all. They're not doing that because they really give a fuck. They're doing that because they want to see us out the door so they can bring in the tether class. And unfortunately for them, we said, no, we standing on our square, 10 toes down. We're not going nowhere because we built this country. And they're saying, well, goddamn, if we can't do that, what can we do? And then like Brother Afro just said, they heaving that goddamn Hail Mary in the sky, and it reeks of desperation. And I personally love seeing coons desperate. I love seeing the bootlicks desperate, these Democratic shills. I love seeing them sweating. I love seeing them wake up in fucking fish fry cold sweats. I love seeing it because it shows you that when we're on code, everybody else is uncomfortable, and let's keep them uncomfortable. Brother Sir, I can't see it all, brother. Go ahead.
Talking about me, sir?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, family.
Hey, Black Alpha. I just wanted to give you your props and let you know and the family know that what I've been doing from my little corner of the world, where single-handedly I'm not going to change everything overnight, but what I have been doing is I find myself in my old age completely unashamed to just walk up to people, especially people I've believed to be foundational, and just start talking. And the next thing I do if they're receptive to the message. And by the way, everyone has been receptive to the idea. I throw it out there. They've been hearing it in the background, and it's finally starting to take with them, but they don't know the details of why they know what they know. So I go into it, and I excuse me, a little nervous. I don't talk on the phone that often, but what I do is, while I'm sitting there talking with them, I'll say, pull your phone out. And then when they pull their phone out, I say, go to YouTube, look up Black Alpha Network, and then I'll stand there right with them and tell them to hit subscribe. So if you've noticed a bump in your subscription rates, probably about 100 of those is me doing that for you and Professor Black Truth and Tariq Nasheed and other people in the Black grassroots that I respect. And so, yeah, just a little thing like that is the kind of thing that builds the kind of momentum that you see right now. And I just wanted to, like I said, give you your props and appreciate you having me on. I'll land here.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate that, brother. I'm sending you a big salute, man. I appreciate that. Real talk from the bottom of my heart. Hey, well, here's the kicker, man. And I appreciate what that brother just said. And I do the same thing as well for, other Black media. Me and my brother Afro always work together. We've been working together before a lot of people even knew who we were. We've been, supporting each other and holding each other down. And that's the thing about it. We've all been doing that because this is a family tree. And this family tree will be respected at all costs. I'm talking about past, present, future. Think about it, y'all. Really, really think about it. We're at the stage right now where we're having to protect our family tree. We out here riding for our ancestors. They're disrespecting our ancestors. Now, y'all all know, didn't our ancestors catch enough hell when they were here? Didn't they catch enough hell when they were breathing? Look what our ancestors went through. And every single day, we're having to, show people that they cannot disrespect our ancestors. Look at the Emmett Till situation with that Carolyn Bryant or Karen Bryant. Look at that situation. We're not letting that go. We're not letting it go. Half the people in this room were not even alive when Emmett Till was alive. But guess what? We riding for him. We riding for Emmett Till like Emmett Till was just here yesterday. Ain't that love? That's real FBA family. That's a lineage. So they can sit here and try to say we're a group. Ain't no motherfucking group. This is a lineage. This is culture. This is heritage. Everyone in this room right now, your grandmama, my grandmama, they never met each other. They could sit down and have a conversation like they know each other forever. You can play the same music and they'll dance the same way. Shit, they might sit there and tell you where they were when the song came out. And it's all similar. So don't let nobody tell you that foundational Black Americans, we're all separate. We're all divided. We hate each other. Those are just con games to try to stop us from being lineage strong. We represent ourselves. We hold each other down at all costs. And this is what you got to do. Each one teach one. You build with who's next to you and you maintain that and you make it stronger and stronger. Think about this. We have the, right now, all real time. This ain't no movie. This ain't going back and this ain't no goddamn, documentary. This is for real. We have the opportunity to be the era that gets reparations and brings the killer of Emmett Till to justice. They couldn't have did that during the Obama era. They weren't even thinking like that. They wasn't thinking about none of that. We have the opportunity, though, to be the group that did it. And half of us, once again, we're not even around when Emmett Till were there, and reparations should have been done a long time ago. Our brother TBA, Jason Black, Black Authority, he said it best. He said 20 years ago, reparations wasn't even talked about. 10 years ago, people laughed at it. And right now, all these politicians have to answer to it. It's because we're going to where they are. We say pull-up season, we get pull-up justice, and everybody knows when you see us, you have to deal with us. These fake reparations panels, what are we doing? We're going to these reparations panels. We're showing you, nah, bro, you ain't even FBA. Why you sitting on our panel? We checking them. These politicians, we crashing their little parties. Y'all see when that brother crashed that fish fry? He pulled up on him. This is what you have to do. You got to let people see your face. You got to show it. They're going out there right now getting justice, and they're trying to hide that old dinosaur-ass lady who got our brother Emmett Till killed. We're going to go see about her. That one little guy from Pace University, that little tether guy, he's in the tether protection program right now. He's scared to death. He don't want to see us. This is how you got to maintain it. There's strength in numbers. There's strength in how versatile we are. But at the same time, there's strength in that we don't take no shit. And if you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. I always say, for the people who know about my YouTube channel, I always tell people, I say, we do this for the brothers, the sisters, the kings, the queens, the goddess, and the gods. Every episode, I say, foundational Black Americans, B1, certified Black society. If you have those three right there, and I'm looking in this panel right now, and there's all those three all throughout this room. Once you have that in place, then you have people that come after you. You have people who hate on you and people who try to trick you. But at the same time, they can't do a damn thing because we're that strong. Go ahead, brother Afro.
Thank you. It wasn't letting me unmute myself. But to piggyback off of what the brother was talking about, when I first started this, I felt like I was crazy. And when I say that, I mean, I felt like I was completely alone and isolated in my ideology. I felt like I was the only one or one of the only few people in the world who thought the way I did. And it's very empowering to be in spaces where you have hundreds and hundreds of people who say, hey, I got your back no matter what the situation is. Hundreds and hundreds of people who say, I believe in the exact same thing, the exact same goal, the exact same agenda. And me and you are going to work together, and me and you are going to accomplish that together. That is very powerful. That is very emboldening, because what the dominant society will do is they will try to make it seem like you're crazy. They will try to make it seem like reparations. Are you serious? You're the only one in the world who wants reparations. You're the only one in the world who wants Carolyn Bryant to go to jail. You're the only one in the world who wants this. You're the only. See, you just need to change, because nobody else agrees with you. Nobody else sees where you're coming from. That means you're wrong. That means you're wrong. So you just need to change. But now that we're all here, now that we can also see other on code foundation Black Americans and other on code Black people, we can see, no, we were never in the wrong in the first place. All of the feelings that we were having, all of the pushback that we were shamed for having for these agendas, whether it's the LGBT agenda, whether it's the vaccine agenda, whether it's the agenda to say that we don't need reparations, whether it's the Black and brown agenda, whether it's the Black man versus Black woman agenda, all of these agendas that we were pushing back with, and they were telling us that we were crazy. We're coming on here and we're starting to see, actually, no, we're not crazy. They're just deceitful. They're just evil. They're just lying to me. And I'm on the right side of history. And let me make this clear. Whether you were the only one ever on the right side of history, then that's what you're supposed to do. If you're the only one in the world who's doing something right, you still stand on that. You still do the right thing regardless. But it is very empowering when you recognize that, oh, I'm not the only one in the world. I do have support. I do have people who are looking out for me, who will call and check up on me, who will even help me out financially if need be. You know, so when you recognize you have a team and you have a family, it is very empowering. So I want to thank everybody in here, all of my FBA brothers and sisters in here. I want to thank you guys, because you guys have made FBA so strong by saying, no, you're not alone anymore. We're not sharing the term Black with just everybody who happens to be Black. We're sticking to our lineage, and our lineage is going to look out for each other. So big salute to all of my foundational out here.
Hey, for those people who don't understand Afro about some of the, the BS that we got to deal with being content creators and, the algorithms and stuff, I know you break it down so good. Can you tell everybody what it's like for us just to put out content that advances our people and all the type of hurdles and blockades they throw at us?
Brother, it is so difficult. A lot of people don't understand, or there are some who do, but YouTube is a very difficult algorithm to get caught on to. YouTube has very strict guidelines and very biased guidelines. The guidelines are deliberately vague, so you have a bunch of white YouTubers who can pretty much get away with murder, in some cases literally, but when a Black YouTuber says something that the dominant society doesn't like, then next thing you know, you're getting banned, you're getting strikes, you're getting all of these things. So they make it deliberately vague so they can nitpick when you break the rules. Me and Black Alpha, we work consistently. And one of the things about YouTube is that you have to be consistent. One of the things about the algorithm is that if you're not putting out content weekly, you can fall off of people's recommendations. And that's people's recommendations. When they see you on their YouTube timeline, when they're scrolling through and they see a recommendation from the Black Alpha Network, that increases the likelihood that somebody will click and subscribe. But when you block out viewers who are likely to watch your content because you've gotten strikes, you've gotten shadow ban, you've gotten copyright strikes, you've gotten age restrictions. I've had videos just completely taken down. So when you have these things, it throws you off of the algorithm. I'm gonna say this. I made a video about Dr. King. I made a video about Dr. King, and that video really blew up. Then I made a video about the Asian hate agenda. I was making a couple videos about the Asian hate agenda, and those videos were really blowing up. My subscribers was blowing up. My views were blowing up. Those were like my fastest growing videos. Then all of a sudden, people started saying that they were not getting my notifications anymore. I'm not lying. People were saying they're not getting my notifications, and that YouTube was just unsubscribing them. Then next thing you know, my next video got like 32 views. It went from 1,000 views to 32 views, and I had to pretty much work up from 32 views, almost as if I was starting from the beginning. So that's the way YouTube algorithm can stamper the channel, can prevent the progress of the channel, and it's very stressful. Because when you make content, the wallpapers, the content in the YouTube, getting all the tags right, that is very time consuming and it's very stressful. And when YouTube constantly prevents people from seeing it, it makes you want to be like, damn, I don't feel like doing this anymore. If nobody's going to see this, what's the point of me doing this? It will make you want to quit. And that's what YouTube does. If the YouTube algorithm, if the powers that be behind the YouTube studio, if they don't like your channel, they will try to do their best to make you want to quit your channel. And they do it to channels that promote Black empowerment all of the time. But you see, you have brothers like Black Alpha, you have brothers like myself, you have other brothers and sisters who push through the YouTube algorithm and who say, I don't give a damn if only 2 people can see it. If it's benefiting those 2 people, then I'm still going to make this content. I'm still going to put my best foot forward and make this content. So I definitely want to give a salute to Black Alpha, but I want to say with the algorithm, it's very difficult. It's very difficult and very stressful to put out weekly content. Like, you cannot go a week without putting out content, or else you're going to completely fall off. So salute to everybody who subscribed. I appreciate it.
And you guys make sure you go over to YouTube channel, everybody who hasn't already, and subscribe to my brother Afro Elite. Make sure you do it. B1 thorough content. When I say thorough, I mean it. That's a big fact. Make sure you subscribe to others as well. Black Alpha Network, Beatzilla, our brother Torian Reigns, Kid Gravity. I think I've seen him in the room somewhere. Make sure you guys subscribe to us. I sit back and look at the things that they throw after us, and I'm sitting there thinking, y'all, look what they do to Tariq and Professor Black. They stay getting messed with 24/7. And that is what they try to do. So when I say that they literally have all eyes on foundational Black Americans, I mean they have all eyes on foundational Black Americans, top to bottom. It does not matter. And the thing is that you can get on YouTube right now and type in a rap song where one brother is talking about killing another brother, and they'll have that shit completely good. No age restrictions, nothing. You could just hear it live and direct. If we, or me and brother, Afro, we sit here and we make one damn video that's about FBA empowerment, we could say we want to damn, play the goddamn collard greens and some soul food. They're going to try to damn cancel that, and they're going to try to put some age restriction on it. And they got all these perimeters to stop us from doing what we're doing. Yet you can hear rap songs that are uttered with violence. You got to damn near speak in codes and shit for us to be able to put out our content. We put in a lot of work because a lot of people see it as media, and true to, to the self, it is media, but I see it as activism. Brother Afro is down in South Carolina helping Marcel Dixon. That is activism. That is being an activist. Media is an outlet, but activism is who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do. And, we don't just sit here and talk about these things and, just go home about it. No, we actually be out here in the trenches and really putting in work. This is where a lot of the content comes from. It's about being in the streets. It's about being seen, being amongst the people. You can't speak for the people unless you're amongst the people. That's a great thing about our brother Tariq Nasheed. Brother Tariq is in a lot of places. You see Tariq out here literally with the people. Roland Martin, you don't ever see his big ass outside the studio. You don't see him outside the studio. He talks all that stuff about, foundational Black Americans. But when, TBA went to go see about him, Roland was broadcasting and he said, no, I'm over here. No, I'm over there. No, I'm over there. He was ducking, dodging, and hiding because he's not really amongst the people, because he does not speak for the people, because he's not from the people. He's a paid shield. We really be out here really holding it down, really out here trying to, build with the people and speak for everybody, for those who can't be spoke for. And they throw hurdles and blockades at us every time. I sit back and see some of the things that go on with, my fellow brothers in the Black media, and I watch it happen, and it's just shameful. But, no matter what they do, because when you have that FBA soul, that FBA move, that FBA bop, when you got it, you jump over every single blockade that they put in front of you. You jump over every single hurdle that they try to throw at you. And we do it with ease, and we do it with style. Brother ACAB, go ahead.
Hey, let me know if you can hear me good.
Yeah, I hear you fine, sir. Go ahead, family.
Cool. Basically, I am a kind of like an old schooler, man. I've been doing this whole FBA thing for a while. It's just that you're right with the whole breaking through the content barrier. So I on TikTok, I'm kind of the reason why FBA is even the thing on like TikTok. So I average about 1 million views a month, and I average that on TikTok every single month. And what I mostly cover is bad cops, right? But I did a little trick. This is how you can break through the algorithm, right? So I saw that white people loved my content in which I went after cops. I cover news stories about bad cops. They get arrested for anything from pedophilia, rape, murder, child abuse, domestic violence, you name it. And usually I cover these news stories. When I do the Google search, I set it to a 24 hours to a week type of time frame. So all the news stories are actually fresh. And I do this 6 to 8 news stories a day, usually, especially like just now. I just uploaded my 7th one, so for the day. So I work hard. And what I do is that I saw that white people, because I cover all bad cop stuff. I don't care if you're black or white victim. I cover it all. And the white people like that. They think that I'm all lives matter and everything. But in every video, if you go to my channel and check the freaking hashtags, I put hashtag FBA in every fucking video because I saw that white people like the bad cop content. So I snuck in that hashtag, right? And now if you go to TikTok for the past 6 months, I've been secretly kind of like boosting up FBA. And so basically you have to utilize the tools that's actually there. The other thing that I want to tell all new content creators is that, really with the whole FBA thing, man, like Foundation of Black Americans, this movement, the thing that I like about it is that it's mostly younger people. It's not old niggas like me, right? I'm 36. Y'all like 20 somethings, right? I mean, I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? We are seeing a lot of young cats out here. And so I think the older people, one thing that I'm already seeing, older people, step aside, man. These young kids are doing it. They are making shit happen that our generation did not fucking do. All right. Do not get in their way. Our role here is to give them a voice. Whenever if anybody here wants to get on TikTok, because I'm not really big on YouTube, but I'm huge on TikTok. I'm like a superstar there. I will promote you. You don't have to thank me. You ain't got to do anything else. If you tell me that you are FBA and you want to push the actual message, I will promote you. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to actually help you. That's our role here as the older folks. Y'all 20 somethings, y'all got this shit, man. Our role is not to lecture or dictate or mandate. Our role here is to freaking support you, because that's what's happening with these older Negroes in South Carolina. Because I actually talked to freaking Marcel. I'm actually from South Carolina. My people are down in Marion County near Myrtle Beach. So we're really tall people. That's where Zion Williamson, that's where he comes from, and all of us are built like that. Like every last one of us are built like that. Like even my aunt is like 6'10". But anyways, basically, when you look at South Carolina and some of the older Negroes, right? Basically, that's the reason why we can't advance. So that's why I don't want older Negroes here getting in the way, because we will be basically going back to what the fuck caused the problem in the first place. And the last point that I want to leave all y'all with is the number one thing that you want to do right now is don't lose the flame. I'm gonna tell y'all something. My girlfriend, she works as an independent court reporter, and she makes like $10,000 a month. When my girlfriend is hearing about FBA in white circles, guys, we are in fucking Washington State. This state is fantastically white. And we're hearing about FBA in Washington State in professional circles. Do not stop tweeting. Do not stop talking. Go to your local representatives. Go to your governor. Go to your representative. Go to your freaking alderman. It doesn't matter who it is. Ask them for reparations for foundational Black Americans. Hold these fucking police accountable. And the last thing is tangibles for Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. All right. You have the flame right now. Do not let that shit go out. And I land my plane and I'll drop back down to listener.
Hey, much respect, brother. Much respect, man. Hey, we're going to stay in touch, family. We're going to stay in touch. Hey, we're going to do some real networking, family. FBA. Hey, go ahead, brother Afro. You can respond to him.
Yeah. First off, thank you for that too, because the TikTok algorithm is difficult for people to get on to, especially when you're pushing messages of Black empowerment. I want to say this though. What he said is, I'm on TikTok. I don't really do the YouTube thing. That's a part of everybody kind of knowing their lane and staying in their lane. Everybody's not going to be on YouTube. Excuse me. Everybody's not going to be on YouTube. Everybody's not going to be on TikTok. You have people who are like the spokesmen. You have people who just take clips and just post the clips. You have people who just like and share. You have people who do other different things. We're all supposed to be a team of people. That means everybody has to pull their own weight. Everybody has to contribute in some way. Of course, you'll have people who do things more than the other people based off of their capabilities, and that's fine. But everybody needs to be doing something. Everybody has something that they can do, a specialty that they have, and everybody needs to be using their specialty. Everybody needs to be using their resources to the best of their ability to help out the team. And when I say team, I don't mean like organization team. I mean the Foundation Black American Lineage. Everybody needs to be doing what they can do. So whether you're a doctor, a nurse, an educator, whether you work in the for the state, whatever the case may be, I don't care if you're a Uber driver, whether you're a news reporter, whether you're I don't know, a police officer even. I mean, I already know my feelings about them. But everybody can be doing something with the position that they're in life. You're in that position for a specific reason. If you know about music history, you know about that for a reason. So it's your job to, if I was a musician, I wouldn't be out here trying to teach about ancient history. I would be out there trying to teach about music. Everybody isn't a one size fits all. Everybody isn't a jack of all trades. You might just have a specialty. So use that specialty to help the rest of the group. So I definitely want to tip my hat to that brother for doing that.
Hey, that's a good fact right there. We gonna all work together. And that's the great thing about these. I hear people talking about the Twitter spaces and all of that type of stuff. No, these Twitter spaces are very good. It's like anything in life. If you put your energy in an area that is unproductive, you're going to get unproductive results. But if you deal with good people who are like-minded, who are intelligent, then you're going to get those good results. So in our spaces, if anybody knows, when me and Brother Afro, when we get together and we make our Twitter spaces, there's always somebody that comes up and we always put them on game. Because a lot of people are still on the come up. A lot of people are still learning. Not everybody's where they're going to be tomorrow. So, we'll put people on game. We'll talk about Neely Fuller. We'll talk about, all the great pillars in the community. And, I've got DMs as well as Brother Afro's got DMs with people thanking us like, hey, man, I appreciate that. You guys showed me this book right here. It changed my life. I learned a lot from it. It's the same thing that reflects in the content that we put out on our channels, but the same thing is an extension right here on these Twitter spaces. So everybody's got to work together. As we say, man, each one teach one. We all do a little, then we all do a lot. That's why, we are where we are now. We got to where we are right now by doing exactly what Brother Afro Lee was just speaking about, by building, by galvanizing, by having that commonality. Back in the old days when folks was beefing over, east and west and north and south and all that, we don't do none of that. We don't do none of that. I see people in this room from, all 50 states. I'm from Ohio by way of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So I know all about, Toledo, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland. I know all about, Augusta, Savannah, Atlanta. My brother Afro's in Chicago. I know about that. I know about Brooklyn. Queen Alpha's from Brooklyn. I know all about the 50 states. And I reach out to all my brothers and sisters, no matter where they are, because this is how we build together and we work together. And this is just the, the tools that are at our disposal. Back in the old days, Black folks didn't really have these. They didn't have the internet. We got the internet. We got technology. You better goddamn use it, because trust me, they're using it as well. These people are, I don't want to say getting radicalized, because they say radicalized, but I think a lot of these folks are already, supremacy is radical. So I don't use they get radicalized over the internet. They get radicalized at their damn dinner table at night. But they use the internet so they can get together, they can team up. So when you see this dominant society and all these attacks that they do at us in churches, in grocery stores, all that stuff, they get together on the internet and they build with each other. And they build with each other for bad purposes. You know what I'm saying? When you see these folks teaming up, you see the diaspora. Every weekend, they got a Twitter space talking about Tariq Nasheed. They're talking about me. They're talking about Afro Lee. They're talking about all of us. That's because they're utilizing technology for bullshit purposes. We got to use it for real, thorough, foundational Black American purposes, and we are. And we are, and they're really getting real upset about it. That's why this rally that's coming up is so important. I know I will be there. I know Brother Afro will be there. I can't wait to see everybody, everybody in the room. Let's get together and let's keep this thing pushing. And no matter what platform you have, no matter where you're at, no matter what space you're in, make sure every room you walk in, they feel that FBA energy. I've traveled outside this country, and I know one thing. When foundational Black Americans step in the room, everybody knows it. I promise y'all, I've been way over in Europe, in a room full of people who are non-FBAs. I'm talking about Europeaners. You got a bunch of people from the diaspora, Africans, Caribbean folks, all in the room. As soon as 3 foundational Black Americans stepped into place, that goes for men and women. As soon as we stepped into place, everybody stopped. And it was all eyes on us. And it's still all eyes on us. And that's why we're trending right now. That's why everybody's speaking about us right now. And that's why everybody's hating on us right now. But it's a good thing, because that just means we on code and we pushing it straight to the top. Go ahead, Brother Afro.
I want to say one of the great things that I like about when it comes to the new Black media, you have, like, I'm just going to use the big 3, for example. You have Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, is because despite the fact that a lot of times they speak on the same subjects and a lot of time they have the same opinions, they all come at it from a different angle. They don't say the same thing. Nobody is trying to be like the other person. It's not like there's a hive mind when it comes to being on code. And that's one of the beautiful things about being on code, is because you still do get to be yourself. You still do get to be yourself. You can still have your own style. You can still have your own way of doing things. As long as the agenda is within you, then that's all that matters. I remember the first time I subscribed to Jason Black in 2018. And then I think it was like a week later, I found Professor Black Truth's YouTube channel, and I subscribed to him. And as I was watching his content, I was all like, wow, this dude sounds exactly like Jason Black. Well, when I say exactly like Jason, I mean, like, as far as the way they put things, the vocabulary, everything. But I'm like, I can tell this dude is not Jason Black. I never thought that Professor Black Truth was Jason Black. I can tell they were 2 different people. And that was something that really caught my attention, because you can sound like somebody else, you can talk exactly like somebody else, but you can have slight differences. Nobody here is trying to be like Tariq Nasheed. So this is why I don't like when people say, well, Tariq Nasheed is the leader of FBA. Nobody, and we all have respect and love for Tariq Nasheed, but Tariq Nasheed is his own person. Nobody's trying to mimic Tariq Nasheed. This is not a hive mind with one single leader who's put on the pedestal and everybody's trying to be like that leader. When people say, I was in an argument not too long ago where somebody was all like, oh, well, the reparations and all of that stuff, those are Tariq Nasheed talking points. I'm all like, how are they Tariq Nasheed talking points? They're just the talking points of people who are foundational Black Americans. Tariq Nasheed didn't create the topic of reparations, and he doesn't lead the topic of reparations. There's nobody who leads the topic of no single person who leads the topic of reparations. We all agree on reparations. We all have agreed on reparations, and we're all pushing that agenda forward. There is no leader. There is no hive mind. We're all individuals, but we're all on code. And that's the beautiful thing here. When I first saw Black Alpha's YouTube channel, when I first saw Black Alpha's YouTube channel, I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the way he was putting a lot of things. And I was like, damn, he got music in the background. The music sounds good. His audio sounds good. I can tell he got high quality microphone and equipment. But you don't see me trying to act like Black Alpha, and this isn't because Black Alpha isn't phenomenal in what he does. It's just I am my own person, and I move to my own beat, and I will do my thing in my style, and he does his thing in his style. Black Alpha has been steadily growing by shaking how he shakes and moving how he moves. I've been growing by moving how I move. We have other people who move how they move and they grow. We don't try to piggyback off of something. Oh, well, Black Alpha's doing this, so let me try to talk a little bit more like this. Let me try to do a little bit more like this. I'm going to just say, you know what? Salute to the way he's doing it. Let me see if I can do it my way, though. And that's the beautiful thing of us recognizing that FBA is a lineage, is not an organization, is not a team, it's not like is not any of that. It's a lineage. So we can be diverse. We can be just as diverse as we've always been, because our people are naturally diverse people. As long as we're on code, as long as we have the same end goal, the same agenda, then that's fine. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Hey man, that's all facts all the way across the board. Because when I listen to Brother Afro Elite, when I listen to Beatzilla, I listen to these brothers, and I'm telling you, I hear so much good content, and we can all learn from everybody. You know what I'm saying? No matter what people do, we can learn from them. Doesn't mean we have to be Tariq Nasheed. Don't mean we have to be Jason Black. Jason Black and Tariq will tell you they don't want to go out here in the field and there's a billion of them. They don't want that. They want everybody to be their own and hold their own. So when I listen to my brothers, I listen to them speak, I hear great content and things that they say. I'll cherry pick and I'll be like, I like that part right there. That's a good saying right there. That's a good quote. And there's no shame in it. My man Beatzilla, he called me the DMX of the new black media. Salute to you, Beatzilla. I see you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It's real good talk, and it's something I appreciate. And everybody wants to, be in their own space and time, but you can be in your own space and time and you can shine with your brother or your sister right next to you. I'm going to be honest with you, keeping it 110. When I see a lot of these certified sisters out here holding it down, I get motivated, because we understand all the games that they try to throw at our sisters out here. But when I see our sisters out here really holding it down and represent certified black society and planting that FBA flag, man, I love that shit. I love it. That motivates me to the maximum. Because when I know a brother and the sister, a king and a queen and the goddess of God are all on the same page, I understand that supremacy's worst nightmare. That's what they hate the most. They hate us representing our lineage. They hate us representing our culture. But what is a lineage and a culture without a brother and a sister, a man and a woman, a king and a queen? So when we're all standing side by side representing each other, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. That's what they fear. That's why they spend trillions of dollars trying to disrupt the black family. But when they know that that brother gonna ride for the cause, and then they know that sister gonna ride for the cause, and they getting together and doing it simultaneously, oh man, they pissing down their leg. And right now they're pissing down their leg, and it's all eyes on foundational black Americans, and it's going to stay that way. Lioness, go ahead.
Peace and Black Power family. I want to shout out everybody in this space. Thank you, Black Alpha, Afro Elite, and Queen. I just wanted to come in briefly because I'm outside moving around. I just need to bring light to how disrespectful, undermining, and paternalistic it is for people to think that we, FBAs, Foundational Black Americans, can't think for ourselves, and that we even need to have a leader, as opposed to us thinking, speaking, and doing things in service of our own agenda and our own needs, right? So I'm seeing a lot of stuff online. People are saying, oh, they have the same talking points and they're following this person and they're playing Simon Says. They're doing what, these people are doing or what Tariq is telling them to do. It's very insulting. And it's the same thing that the Democrats use, the same strategy to make it seem like we can't, especially black men, think or vote or whatever within our own interests. And I land there. Thank you so much for the space. Hope to see y'all in DC soon. Be one.
Be one, sister, and thank you for that.
Be one, sister, all the way around, all the way around. That's true. Let's get into that, family. That's what I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this disrespect. Disrespect, because that's the shit that gets me. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I don't give a fuck what they try to throw at us. When you start disrespecting foundational black Americans, now that's a whole nother issue, because we're not to be disrespected. We're not to be disrespected. Folks, we done came so far. We done so much through oppression. Nobody's had it like us. Nobody's had to deal with what we've dealt with in our homeland. There will be no disrespect. And I think a lot of these tethers, they come over here and they talk to us like they talking to immigrants or something. They think that we're like some fellow immigrant that they can just go back and forth with. We ain't no immigrants. This is our land, straight up. The dominant society can get their ass up out of here because we were here before them. People don't understand. When we say foundational black Americans, we're not talking about we were the first black people here. No, we were the first people here. We built this country. We didn't do it as partners or as a team. We did this as our own, lineage, heritage, culture, family, whatever term you want to use. At the end of the day, it goes back to us. So when you start seeing these tethers come talking, because Roland Martin, he's a tether, okay? He's not FBA. Luke Campbell, he's not FBA. 9 times out of 10, you can spot him. First off, you can spot him because what's up with tethers and they fucked up hairlines? I mean, they be having wigs and their wigs got fucking hairlines like way to the back of their neck. I don't know what that's about. We spot their hairlines from a mile away. We say they fake ass accents. And I swear to God, y'all, anytime you leave this country, They go over to other countries and they pretend that they FBA. Anybody who's ever left this country, you know what I'm talking about. They'll be over there acting like they from, America, straight up and down. I seen Africans walking with their hats tilted and wearing Timberlands talking, I'm from Brooklyn. No, you're not. You from the Congo. Stop playing. Stop playing. You'll see them walking around saying, peace up, A-Town down. You're not from A-Town, homie. Okay, you from goddamn the Senegal. Stop that shit. You know what I mean? So they front and they act like us, but at the same time, they try to steal from us. And at the same time, they disrespect us. It is just a clusterfuck. And that shit cannot go on. It cannot go on. We are, truly circling our wagon and stopping the disrespect. Because that's one thing that gets me. You're not going to come over here and disrespect FBA. I don't give a damn what you say about us outside in your country. You can call us a cotta until the goddamn cows come home. But when you come up in this household, you're going to show us respect. Period, point blank. Because if you let somebody, and this goes for us as a group, as a family, as a team, and it goes for you in your personal life. If you allow somebody to come in your home and disrespect you, oh no. Y'all know, y'all mamas, y'all daddies, they probably told people all the time, you can say whatever you want, but when you under my roof, you're going to show some respect. And that's what it is. When they come to here, right here in Foundation of Black America, they are in our house under our roof and they will show us respect, period. Point blank. And nobody's going to shame us because that's the first thing they try to do. They always try to shame us and try to make it look like it's our fault and we're the mean ones. Nobody has ever came at Foundation of Black Americans with a good faith argument. It can't ever be just, hey, I feel this way, you feel this way, we got a difference of opinion. Everybody who comes after us has to play victim. The dominant society plays victim. They act like we're hurting them. You know what I'm saying? The tethers act like we're hurting them. Everyone acts like we're the aggressors all the time. We're not the aggressors, but we're the responders. FBA, we stay in our own lane. We are the most. Don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. You do you, I do me. Keep to myself. We created that. Keep to myself, stay in our own space and time. We don't worry about nobody. I say this all the time consistently on my channel. I say, we don't have time to come to your rally. I'm too busy being black. I don't have time to come to your march. I'm too busy being black. I don't have time to wave the fucking RBG flag or the Pan-African flag. I am too busy being black. We got our hands full being foundational Black Americans. We do not wake up in the morning and think about nobody. I know in their head, they think we waking up at 12 o'clock, jumping up and down, trying to worry about what they got going on. No, we're not. Foundational Black Americans are doing what we do. We building on our own, making our own things happen. So this delusion, this grand delusion that they have in their head that we're out here focusing on them and thinking about tethers, nobody's thinking about a tether. Nobody's thinking about a Democratic shield. Luke Campbell, did y'all even know he was still alive? I don't know what the hell happened. Like, I don't know Luke. I literally thought Luke was gone a long time ago. I'm just being honest. I didn't know he existed till I seen him popping up in the Twitter space. You know what I'm saying? Roland Martin, nobody knows. So you couldn't pick that motherfucker out of the lineup. These people are insignificant. They're irrelevant. And foundational Black Americans do not think about them. So for them to think that we wake up every morning and they are like circling around our mind, that's bullshit. And for them to think that they're going to come in our house and disrespect us, that's even further bullshit. And all those things will put you on that G checklist that will get your ass checked fast, quick, and in a hurry. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And that's why everybody is upset. And that's why it is, again, all eyes on Foundation of Black Americans. Go ahead, my brother Byron.
Yes, sir. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to the host of the room, Afro, Black Alpha. I appreciate y'all having the space. I just want to say real quick, I'm hearing too much of this rhetoric that goes out some of this from these spaces about FBA being a hate group. I know you guys picked on that. A lot of times I just ignore that, but sometimes I think, we need to start taking that seriously. I know they want to shut down the movement and all that as far as what we're trying to do, but, it's starting to get a little bit too consistent, all that chattering that comes from, a lot of it comes from people who look like us. And I just, when these spaces start coming up, I'm talking about like some Luke spaces and these other spaces, that doesn't happen in here, but when some of these other spaces, I'm usually silent. I usually let the younger crowd do the speaking because you guys have all the most of the energy. But when some of these guys start coming out their mouth talking about FBA as a hate group, I'm gonna start, putting my mic on and speaking against that because I think we start need to take that more seriously because that's the kind of rhetoric. Okay, we clown some people and call people tethers, but when you label people a hate group like there's some terrorist organization, I think that's something we need to start shutting down. And I just wanted to, I'll land my plane on that.
I fully agree. That's absolutely. It might not seem like it's a significant thing, them labeling us a hate group, but you have to understand when enough people do that, then it puts the FBA, they try to make it synonymous with hating on immigrants. And my last broadcast I just did, I read the petition, and they're talking about FBA is trying to put them in internment camps, and we're promoting violence against them, and that we're out there trying to physically harm Black immigrants, and nobody's trying to do that. We might say something about your hairline, we might say something about, your country or whatever the case may be, in response to your disrespect, but nobody physically wants harm to you guys. So we got to really push against that narrative that we're a hate. First off, we're not a group. There's no members of FBA. It's not like something you can sign up for and then send an email and wait for a response. There's no levels to it. You're either a foundational Black American, which means your lineage is tied to the country, is tied to the foundation, or it's not. That's just what it is. You're either FBA or you're not. And there's nothing anybody can do or say to change that. So we're not a group, but when people say certain things like that, that is pretty much them telling white people to be like, hey, please look out for these people. Please come get these folks, because these folks are scary to us. And what's so disrespectful about that? And like Black Alpha was talking about the disrespect, we've been the nicest people in the world. And nobody's going to tell me anything different. Foundational Black Americans have always been the nicest and the kindest people in the whole world. We've been the people who've always been giving people second, third, fifth chances. We've always been looking out for people, sacrificing for people. And all of a sudden, when we say, you know what, there needs to be reciprocity, there needs to be some respect, now we're a hate group. That's like you inviting your family member in and you say, hey, take your shoe, you can get comfortable. And so, in Black households, at least in mine, I'm gonna tell you, when you go to a family member's house and they say get comfortable, that kind of means you can take your coat off and you can sit on the couch. That doesn't mean do the most. But when we say, hey, you can come in and you can get comfortable, they've come in, they've took their shoes off, they threw them around, they got their feet on the table, they're all up in the refrigerator and in the cabinets. I can tell you from my house, I have a bunch of family members that I, go to their house and I spend time with them. There's only like a handful that I just feel free to just go in the refrigerator. Like literally only two or three. And that's like my grandma and my auntie. I don't be going in people's house and then going in their cabinets and going in their refrigerator, putting my feet up on the table. But that's what they've been doing to us. When we've welcomed them in our house, they've been coming in and then they've been acting like that's their house. And then the second we say, hey, you know what? You're going to have to get your feet off the table. You're going to have to put that drink on a coaster. If you want a drink, you can ask me for it. Don't feel free to just go in the refrigerator and looking for stuff. This isn't your house. Let's get that straight. And then they've said, oh, well, damn, why you hating on me? No, there's no hate. How am I hating on you in my house? You're in my house. This is not our house. This is not your house. This is my house. And then when they say, okay, well, when is this FBA thing going to be over? When are you guys going to stop this? When is the end game where we can all go back to normal? Oh, no. This is the new normal. This is the way going forward. Every time you come in, you're going to wipe your feet at the door. You're going to put your coat up and you're going to sit down on the couch and we're going to have fun as a family. But all of that, you coming in when you want to, when you walking over the carpet with your muddy shoes and putting your feet on the table and going in the refrigerator and doing all of that is over with. The disrespect is over with. We're setting a new precedent going forward that this is the house of foundational Black Americans and it will be treated as such and no disrespect will be tolerated whatsoever.
Hey, I love that. I hope y'all heard that right there. This is the new norm. It is not going back. We are not hitting reverse on the car, on the truck. It ain't happening. This is the new norm. And we all pretty much sensed it. I know I could. I could see the shift. I remember the way things used to be. I remember the way Black folks used to think and talk. A lot of people don't remember, but I was a little younger. But I say around the Obama era, Black folks would get mad at you if you brought up racism. They would damn near attack you for bringing up, like if you said that there's supremacy, you'd see a lot of resistance from other Black folks. They be on there, y'all rocking that boat now again. Just stop all that talk. We got Obama in office and everything's as goods now. That was like the African-American era. We got to really look at things in, like chapters of a book, and put them in categories. That era, that chapter is closed. Done deal. It's over with. It's not coming back. The only way somebody's going to ever see that, subservient type of mentality, that docile mentality from black folks, they better put on fucking Roots. Okay. They better go watch one of them old ass documentaries from back in the day, because anything from this point going forward is different. And we all see it. You guys see the terminology shift. There's words that aren't even in play anymore. Black folks don't run around here no more and talk about yes, we can. I don't even remember last time I heard that. Like respect to Dr. King, but the I had a dream. Nobody says that. Like my brother B Zilla said, you're hearing people more talk about when Dr. King said we coming to Washington to get our check. I never thought 10 years ago we would see that. Black folks actually quoting, we're coming to get our check, more than they're quoting, I have a dream. I have a dream. They spent trillions of dollars. Every goddamn city in America got a goddamn Martin Luther King Avenue, Boulevard, a Martin Luther King Bridge. They purposely took Martin Luther King. And I always say, you have Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is a foundational Black American legend. And then you have White and Luther King. White and Luther King is the image that they created and sold back to us, and they put into the school system, and they basically taught everybody, anybody who went to public school in the 2000s and the 90s, they basically told us all that Martin Luther King had a dream and racism went away. That's basically what they taught us. And then we figured that out. We seen that that was a lie. And the sad part is a lot of old Negroes, they actually were going right along with that shit. They was agreeing with it, and they was supporting it, and they were acting like Obama. Y'all remember them little fucking things they try to put out? They say, goddamn, Rosa sad and Martin dream, so Obama could, all that shit. They did the same thing with Kamala Harris. This person did this, so Kamala can run. No, Kamala can sit her ass down, and we're not going for that no more. And that whole term, first black, it ain't first black. It's first off, you ain't black. That's what we saying. These people are not FBA. These folks ain't even black. A lot of that terminology is gone with the wind. We've moved into a new era where we have new terminologies, new identifications. Black first is very prevalent. Foundational Black Americans is very prevalent. I say certified Black society. You can put that certified in front of everything. Certified B1, certified FBA, whatever it is you represent. These are the things that are really bringing light to the whole matter. And this is a new era, and everything is fresh. You know what I'm saying? Black folks was out here running around with shit from the 60s. Like the leaders and whoever the fuck, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, these dudes are my great-grandfather's age. And they was out here literally trying to lead middle schoolers. I mean, they're going to rallies and can't even walk. I seen Jesse Jackson at a goddamn rally, and he was being held up on both arms. Listen, if you don't have usage of your legs, don't go to a march. I don't know what you think you're trying to prove or who you think you're trying to represent. We don't need wheelchairs on Washington. We don't need walkers on Washington. We don't need hover rounds on Washington. If you need any of those three things, just stay at home and let the new folks do it. And when I say new, I'm talking about, I don't care if you're in your 50s. I don't care if you're in your 30s. I don't care if you're in your 40s. I don't care if you're in your 20s. I don't give a damn if you're a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not really about generation. I'm about era. It's about era. And I don't say like, just because you old, you don't get it. Because I know some old folks that will bust your ass straight up. And they've been representing foundational Black American when everybody was saying, yes, we can. You feel me? So I include them as well. And I also include the young folks coming up, and everybody in their 30s and in their 20s and their 40s. We kind of like sandwich right here in the middle. And that's good because you're really in the prime of your activism, and we're the ones who got it. I knew that it was going to take us to get a little older. You know what I'm saying? Those people who are 80s babies or 90s babies, I knew, and even the 2000s babies, I knew it was going to take us to get a little older to meet in the middle. And that time finally came. And I always say this for the old heads and for the, the boule folks and shit. I always say, if nature does not get rid of your ass, the new era will. And the new era has gotten rid of them. And they all have to just, respect it to check it. We know they can't check it because they wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. So like Brother Afro said, this is the new norm. Our, people, they're really upset because Tariq Nasheed resonates with the more people than Jesse Jackson. My phone's ringing, Afro. Go ahead and handle it for me.
Okay. Thanks. Well, until Black Alpha gets back, I'm going to give you guys a story. I used to, if you guys know me, for those of you guys who know, I used to work for UPS, the UPS hub in Chicago. And it was the last election, I got into a huge argument with somebody about voting because everybody's all like, oh my God, look at the way the world is going. We all got to get out there and vote. And at that point in time, I was kind of keeping my opinions to myself about voting. I wasn't going to do it because I'm not voting without tangibles. And I stood firm on that. But people asked me about voting. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do it because I don't approve. I don't support any candidate, and I'm not going to be scared into voting. And like Black Alpha said, some of the terms and rhetoric that we used to always have to hear, we don't really hear that anymore. a few years ago, that was the last time I heard somebody say, well, your ancestors died for you to get the right to vote. And I was, listen, I was literally arguing with somebody at work, so much so to the point where he started yelling at me, and me and him was going back and forth, like yelling at each other about voting. He was like, oh, you're disrespecting our people. Our people died for you to get the right to vote, and you're throwing their deaths away. It's all in vain. I said, actually, no, you are doing that. When our people made the sacrifices for us to get the right to vote, I want you to understand why they did that. They did that because the purpose of voting is supposed to change things. The purpose of voting is supposed to pick somebody that you support who's going to do something for your people. They didn't risk their life. They didn't sacrifice to vote just for the capability of voting. When you guys vote just because you can vote, despite the fact that there are no tangibles, there's no policy, there's no benefit for you voting, then actually you're making your people's death in vain. Not me. Not me. If anything, I'm honoring my people by saying I'm not going to vote because this is not what my people worked for. This is not what my people died for. And now that we're starting to say the same thing, we're starting to move in the same way. You don't really have a lot of people talking about this is the most dangerous election and all that stuff. And the ones that do, we just run them out the room. The ones that do, we say, okay, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're disrespecting our people when you go out there and vote for somebody like Joe Biden. That's you, and vote for somebody like Kamala Harris. That's you disrespecting them. If they were alive today, if our ancestors were alive today, they would probably smack you in the face for voting for Joe Biden. You ain't black unless you vote for me. Lock him up, crime bill. There's not a single crime bill that he had his name on that he wasn't proud of and that he stands on today. He stands on every single anti-black, notorious, racist thing he's ever done today. And too many black people still went out there like, oh my God, Joe Biden, thank you, Jesus. And they still voted for him. So they are the ones who disrespected our ancestors. We're the ones honoring our ancestors by saying we're not going to vote unless we get tangibles. We're not going to vote until Dr. King's dream is fulfilled with us getting reparations. We're not voting for any other reason. We're not voting just because. We're not voting for no other reason. You're not scaring us into voting. We want tangibles, and we're not moving until we get it. It's the ballot of the bullet, like Malcolm X said. Black Alpha, are you back? Okay, well, okay. He probably is on the phone. Vovo, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say, I heard you mention earlier about the right side of history. My people, that's what it's about. Because it's always, we was always wrong in the moment. In the moment, we said we didn't want to be slaves. They said, no, you got to be a slave. You wrong for that. They had laws in place to make you a slave. Harriet Tubman wanted to be free. She ran away. They put a warrant out for her arrest. They was going to kill her for that. Now we can all see, if we look back on history, she was right. Martin Luther King said, I had a dream. Let's do this the right way. They shot him in the head for that. Now we can see, if we look back on history, that he was right. When they look back at this moment in history, 100 years from now, our descendants and our children and grandchildren, they are going to see that we were right. Who do you all think they're going to think is right? Us or these tethers? Running around here calling us akatas and cosplaying us and all that type of shit. Who gonna be right? Us or these white supremacists? We are on the right side of history. It's a tough time right now because for some reason we always wrong in the moment. I don't know what that is. Like, it's like when it comes to us, water ain't wet no more. The sky not blue no more. Anything we say is like they trained to go against it. So I feel like that's our special, unique purpose on this world is to better the world. And that's what we've been doing. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, thank you very, very much for that. And let me piggyback off of that. We are on the right side of history. We're doing things that's going to change the world and set a precedent for a new and better world. I want you guys to think this country could be a very great country. This country could be a beautiful country. It's just you got white supremacy that runs the country. And when we dismantle that and when we replace that with a system of justice, this country and the world will be a beautiful world. We got natural resources, land. You have people who are talented. You have people who are inventors who can literally take like the molecules in the air and turn that into fresh drinking water. You have people like that, and then the government kill them because they want to limit the supply of water people can drink. You have people who can turn literal water into fuel for cars, like I guess gasoline or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure, but they can turn that into fuel for cars. And then the government assassinates them because they want to control the fuel. Once we get these people out of power, once we dismantle the system of white supremacy, can you imagine how much better the world is going to be? The world is going to be so much better off without these people because it really holds back progression. We would be much farther in human society had it not been for these people. Okay, so we're on the right side of history, and I know it seems very lonely right now, and unfortunately, that's just how it is. I can't tell you exactly why, but well, I guess I kind of can. But being on the right side of history is a very lonely road. Doing the right thing when everybody else is doing the wrong thing is very lonely, and it's very stressful. So I definitely want to salute all of the brothers and sisters who are out here doing it, who are out here saying, look, I understand I'm going to get pushed back for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I understand that this isn't popular. I understand that this goes against the grain. I understand that this isn't politically correct, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway because this is the right thing to do. And that shows righteousness in your character. And that's something that we all should have and we all should be proud of. The righteousness in our character to do the right thing despite everybody telling you, oh, no, you need to stand back. You need to be scared. You need to just acquiesce to what they say. You need to, quote unquote, play the game. When you play the game, everything's going to work out that way. And we're saying no. We're saying we're not doing that anymore. We're not waiting for the hearts of white people to change. We're going to change the environment whether they want it to be changed or not. That is the right side of history. For hundreds of years, do you know they actually had like a diagnosis for the slaves that wanted to run away, that wanted to leave the plantation? They literally wrote, if a slave wanted to leave the plantation, if they didn't want to be a slave anymore, then there was something mentally wrong with that slave. Slaves should be happy to be a slave to their slave master. So that's how much going against the grain it was. But you still had black people fighting revolutions, planning revolutions, escaping and then coming back and freeing other black people. You still have black people doing that all throughout slavery. All throughout slavery. So, and every single last one of them were on the right side of history, win or not. It's about doing the right thing. And I know there's pushback for it. I know it's stressful. I know it's difficult. So I definitely want to salute every single last one of you all for doing it. I want to tip my hat to every single last one of you all for doing it. It's not easy, but it has to be done. Because if we don't do it, who else will? And I want you guys to understand we're in a very critical time right now. We're trying to push back so we don't become a permanent underclass. So there's not going to be a second chance, really. We're not going to, we can't sit back and let our grandkids take care of this. We can't do that. It has to be us right now. Black Alpha, you back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got to piggyback off exactly what you just said and Brother Bobo as well. I like how you guys phrase that. There's no turning back. We done reached the point of no return, family. There's no turning back. This is officially the shit done got real part of this, this struggle as we are in. It's definitely done gotten real. Like everything that's occurring right now in society and, the attacks that they're coming at Foundation of Black Americans with, this is serious. We're moving into another level. When you start talking about hate groups and they're starting to throw around those terms, that ain't nothing to play with. That ain't nothing to play with. So anybody that had planned in their heart yesterday got to get that shit out. We got to be for real. We got to focus on who we dealing with. We got to understand they're sending real agents and ops at us on a day-to-day basis, and we got to focus on that. I like what Brother Bobo said. We're always right in the moment. We're always right in the moment. There's not one time where Foundation of Black Americans have not been correct about exactly what we're talking about because we're talking about our own lives. They're always trying to tell us how we think, tell us who to vote for, tell us what to love. Nah, we doing it for ourselves. And once you start doing for yourself, these people get terrified. They petrified. You know, anytime you're dealing with a person who calls himself an African American or any of that type of stuff, that's somebody that they can hustle, that they can scam. Us FBAs, that is purely me, myself, and I. I make the determination on what my people are going to do. I make the determination on where my people are going to go. We're controlling our own destiny. And people got to understand, for us to control our own destiny, that throws a wrench in the whole game of anti-Black racism. And remember this as well. We are the only group on this planet that is a thorn in the side of the global system of supremacy. Nobody else in this whole world, I'm talking about 7 billion people. Nobody else is a thorn in the side of global anti-Blackness other than foundational Black Americans, because we're the only ones who consistently fight anti-Black racism. Foundational Black Americans have been holding it down from day one. This is why, as I say, it takes all of these people just to try to put a dent in us. And right now, we just G-checking them. We bitch slapping them all over the place. They know it. That's why they tucking their tails and they going to hide. The tethers, all of them. The boule, they all shook. That's why they all throwing them temper tantrums, is because foundational Black Americans cannot be, moved. We cannot be knocked off our square. And I love this era, and I love how we're all handling it. So we got to remember this. And I say this all the time. You guys who subscribe to my channel, you probably heard me say this. I'll phrase the question again. Where would the Black race be if there were no foundational Black Americans? If the world, we woke up tomorrow, there's no FBAs, where would the Black race be? I'll tell you where they'd be. Turn on your news, go look what they're doing in Africa right now. They over there getting enslaved and getting their ass whooped on their homeland. Go down to South America where they're littered with Black people. They're 7/10 Black down there, and they won't even tell you they are. They're down there getting their asses whooped. The darker complected people are living in a caste system where they're completely being dominated. Black folks in Europe are completely being dominated. Black folks all over this earth, from pillar to post, from one ocean to the other, from the east to the west, the north to the south, are getting their asses whooped. The only place where you ain't whooping ass is right here in foundational Black America. They'll take over South Africa. I bet they won't take over Southside Chicago. I bet they won't take over New Jersey. I bet they won't take over Oakland. I bet they won't take over Savannah. I bet they won't take over Cleveland or Columbus. I bet that. And if they come around, they know what time it is, because we different. We walk different. We move different. And that sets the precedence. This is why when people come over here, they're kind of shook, because they're used to just whooping Black folks' ass in their land. When all that stuff happened over there in Asia and they was just beating up the Africans and stuff, they thought they was going to come over here and pull that shit on us. And guess what? We weren't going for it. They weren't going for it. So when they come over here and they deal with us, they understand they're dealing with a Black person that is completely different than everyone that you've ever dealt with in your life. And they don't know how to handle that. And usually when people are confronted with that, they get cowardly. They start running. Like Afro was just saying, what they do, they tucked their tail and they ran. They went and they snitched on us, because that's all that little pension was. That little pension, that was just them snitching. And I watched Brother Afro's show where he read that, that whole pension. I seen it. I watched that whole episode, and Brother put it down clearly. That pension is a straight tether creation. That shit is in tether handwriting. They got Joe Law fingerprints all on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? This is what they did. And they're over there saying to Zaddy, oh, please help us. We want to be the foundational Black Americans. You promised us that we would replace foundational Black Americans, but FBA ain't go away. FBA is still here. FBA is representing. So therefore, that's a wrench in the game, and therefore that's got everybody scared and not knowing what the fuck to do. So they're running and trying to tell on us. So us FBA, us being strong, being lineage-based and lineage-specific, letting everyone know this is who we are. No term that you can remix and all that. That's why I salute our brother Tariq, because the term foundational Black American is a term that is completely different. American descendants of slavery, you can play with that. You can twist that all you want to. And somebody can say, well, I'm from South America. We had slaves down there. So technically, I'm an ADOS. They can play that. African American. Elon Musk is a damn African American. A person of color. What color? They can play with those terms. Foundational Black American is very precise and very concise, and our verbiage is tight. And that's what's got everybody running in circles, and they're going to keep on running in circles. And the only thing we're going to be doing is making boss moves at the boss's table. My brother B. Zilla.
Hey, what's going on? Peace and peace, blessings to the family. I'm out and about right now. I'm not I'm trying to come around the corner from this festival, so hopefully my background isn't too loud. But shout out to Alpha, Afro Elite, and Queen Alpha, and everybody in the room. One thing I want to talk about is the disrespect from these tethers that come over here, because you got to look at the grand scheme of things. Now that we're separating ourselves as not really even separating ourselves, because let's be clear, they were never with us to begin with. They always have delineated from us altogether. So now that we are focused on ourselves, everybody is going on alert. So that shows you that these tethers came here with the absolute intention of replacing us. So I just want everybody to look at that reality for what it is, because then they'll come over here. That's why when the space first started, it was not about any specific immigrant, but one specific group of immigrants came to center themselves in the argument. Take note of that. So trust me, it's a bigger scheme than we want, and it just got to be what it is. Putting foots to asses up out here for the truth. It is what it is. So with that, I'm gonna hop back in once I get to a quieter space. But man, I'm here. We rocking. I'm playing. Thanks.
Salute to you. And let me piggyback off of that. Just 1 second, and then we can go to Vovo and ACAP. When that viral space, if you guys were around during that viral space was just about immigration in general. That viral space wasn't necessarily targeting anybody specific. That was just about the immigration policy in general. You had a bunch of, and I was in that space for several hours. I was in that space. You had a bunch of Africans, specifically and mainly Nigerians, coming up there. Oh, well, why are you hating on us? So that was really a hit dog holler. That was really somebody who was guilty, yelping and saying, okay, y'all need to leave us alone. Because if we're talking about immigration and we're talking about how does it benefit us, and you guys are giving pushback, that means you all know that immigration and your immigration, black immigration, isn't even benefiting to us. How is black immigration not beneficial for foundational black Americans? Because when foundational black Americans, when we immigrate somewhere, that's beneficial to wherever we immigrate. When we go to Nigeria, when we go to Haiti, Jamaica, wherever we go, we make sure we benefit the people there. When they come over here, they're like, hey, why should we have to? And they were actually saying that in spaces. Our people didn't come over here to help you. We shouldn't have to help you. That they were literally confessing that in spaces. So we're like, oh, okay, all right then. It is what it is. You guys have your own agenda, but your agenda isn't our agenda, so we're moving forward. So don't say we're mean now. Don't say we're mean now. You guys said that you guys came over here for selfish reasons. You guys didn't come over here to help everybody. Okay, all right, that's cool then. So now we're gonna do things our way. Don't cry foul now. You see, in the beginning, they were proudful about it. In the beginning, when FBA was first new to Twitter Spaces, they were proudful. They were saying, hey, we're not here to help you. We're here to get our education and to get our money, and we're here to move forward the way we want to. We're not here looking out for anybody. And now, all of a sudden, you see, brothers and sisters, we are all black people, and when I get pulled over by the police, they still arrest me the same way they arrest you. Me and you have to work together. Oh, yeah, they changed their tempo now. We're changing people's tune now. All of that, hey, we out here for selfish reasons. Now you see, I've never seen a bigger wave of Pan-Africanism from the diaspora until today, until now. We were looking for Pan-Africanism from the diaspora for generations. All of a sudden, we say, you know what? Okay, well, you guys aren't on it. We're going to do our own thing. Now it's a huge influx of quote-unquote Pan-Africanism. Brothers and sisters, we got to work together. We all from the motherland. And no. You guys were never like that. Y'all just keep the same energy you guys been having. That's all. But Black Alpha, you got something to say?
Hey, that's a good point, brother. That right there, you notice how it all shifted. Soon as we start talking about reparations and money was on the table, then all of a sudden everybody wants to be our friend again. Then they want to start saying Pan-Africanism. When we weren't talking about money and reparations wasn't really the sole issue, they didn't give a damn. I always tell people this. It went from, you guys ain't really black, y'all caught us. And then when we start talking about reparations, then it turned into, come home, brother. Nah, First off, we ain't coming home. We already are home. How the hell I'm gonna come home when I'm already at my home right now? Second off, you're starting to see a lot of shifting. When foundational Black American energy starts getting permeated, it makes strange bedfellows. A lot of folks are teaming up and getting on sides, and there's a lot of weirdo shit going on right now. You got white folks running around here trying to act like they're RBGs so they can try to get us to, go back to Africa and shit. You got the Pan-Africans trying to come over here and say they're one of us and not. This is what you start to deal with as soon as we start pushing the issue and pushing the line. So reparations changes everything. It's no different than people who win, lottery tickets. When a motherfucker gets some money, hell, you got people who just get a paycheck. And you have a friend or somebody a cousin that you ain't seen in years. They ain't seen them in months, weeks, whatever. Soon as you get paid on payday, your phone is ringing. Hey, bro, what you got going on, man? What's happening? Oh, nothing. Hey, can I hold something? Let me get $5. That's what they are. They're coming over here trying to get in on some paper that is being presented to us. And do y'all know how low budget you got to be to want to get in on somebody else's reparations? Like, as an FBA, I can't imagine that. Like I always say, it's freedmen versus fleers. And those are two different mentalities and two different thought processes and two different approaches. A freedman, someone who built, a foundational Black American, someone who built, we don't think nowhere in our head about how can I get somebody else's shit. I'm not thinking, man, I need to go over there and get their money. Let me steal some money off of what their ancestors went through. We don't think like that, but that's how they think. That is the most low budget, bottom feeding mentality you can have. Me personally, I'm not working with nobody who thinks like that. I'm not working with nobody who in their little ass mind says, oh, I did not go through what they went through. I did not build what they built, but I feel entitled to get everything they have. And if they do not allow me to get what they have, then I'm going to throw a goddamn hissy fit. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's some sucker shit where I'm from. FBAs, we don't play that. So as soon as we start talking about getting money, as soon as we start talking about deposits and checks, they went from y'all some Makadas to come home, brother. And what they really cannot stand, they hate when they get outed by their own people every single day. I know Tariq got up like 2 or 3 videos right now of people who are from Africa or from the diaspora, from the Caribbean, and they're openly saying, I was never Black before. I don't represent Black. I'm not one of y'all. They hate those things because that's everything we say. We cash receipts. We putting out race receipts, tax returns. We giving out spoilers at this point. Everything foundational Black Americans say today gonna happen tomorrow. And we've been calling this out. We've been telling everybody, watch the game and watch the play. These people do not fuck with us. These people are far distant than us. They have more affection and compassion for the dominant society than they have for us. How do you know this? It's because whenever an FBA goes over to Africa, they get treated like dirt. But yet you go over to Africa as a colonizer and they're literally putting you on their shoulders, throwing parades, rolling out the fucking red carpet. They're putting crowns on your fucking head. Y'all show me the one picture that you can find where a foundational Black American is being dragged across the street on somebody's shoulders. Show me a picture where you can see a foundational Black American having a parade thrown for them. I have not seen it in Africa, but what I have seen, I've seen regular dusty ass people from the dominant society go over there and literally have a fucking holiday. Literally, you got people over there waving the British flag, waving the fucking Arabic flags, waving the goddamn Asian flags left and right. They don't do that when it comes to us. So it shows you that that colonizer is who they love and foundational Black Americans are who they hate. Brother Vovo and then ACAP.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to touch on that right side of history thing again. This is history, what we're doing right now. These our images and videos and voices will be played again in the future. And they're gonna be able to see who was right and who was wrong. Because history don't got no dog in the fight. History just want to know what actually happened. So we're gonna be able to see what's right and what's wrong. The fact that these people out here putting out a petition, I didn't get a chance to see your video, Afro. You gotta tell me which one that is. But they putting out a petition for nothing. We ain't doing nothing. We ain't did nothing to them. They hating and they jealous and they scared. Right now, what they doing with all this FBA hate, it's just a panic button. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, so they hitting the panic button. So now what they supposed to tell on us to the white folks? We not doing nothing in secret. We ain't hiding or doing nothing like that. We saying it loud and proud. So let me close with this too, y'all. We got to stay in this fight because this is the battle of good versus evil, right versus wrong. We all know that we right, and they know that we right. We just got to keep the fight going. And I want to say I'm proud of y'all, and I'm gonna land there. I'm gonna drop down. I'm in the middle of cooking. But thanks, bro.
Yo, Vovo, to answer your question, it was the last one I did. So if you go to like my recents, the very last one I did was the one you're missing. And let me piggyback off of that too. Right before we get to ACAP, and just give me 30 seconds. We are on the right side of history. All the snitching that they were doing, we're changing the way they even act, the way they respond to certain things, just like Black Alpha was talking about. When we first started these Twitter spaces and we first said, we built this country, we deserve reparations, look at all of the work that our people put in, they were in spaces telling us, well, your people didn't do it. They were made to do it, so it doesn't count. Oh, well, your people were slaves. It doesn't count. White people made them do it. White people made them do it. And we were the ones saying, hey, none of that matters. It doesn't matter if, quote unquote, white people made you do it. It wasn't here one day and it was here the next day. That's because somebody put it there. That's because somebody made it. It doesn't matter who or what reason why they made it, what motivated them to make it. It wasn't made until it was made. And we're the ones who made it. And they were all like, oh, well, white people told y'all what to do. White people said that. Y'all proud about the country y'all built from white people. And then they kept going and we kept staying firm. Now you have people coming up nowadays talking about, well, you know what, actually, my people kind of helped build the country too, if you really want to think about it, because Haitians were here in 1806 and we're the ones who founded this. So now they're trying to act like they're foundational. At first they were making fun of the country that we quote unquote built by white people. Now they're coming out here like, actually, we kind of helped you guys too. We were in the same trenches you guys were in. Now they're trying to be like us. And that shows you the power that we have. But I'll land there. ACAP, you can go ahead.
Can y'all hear me well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, there's something that you said, Afro, that gave me goosebumps. Because if you look at my channel, I just put out a video about us changing the environment in which these people operate. So I pulled that from a political strategy. I was a big, political junkie, and I attended this one conservative rally. Not rally, I'm sorry, a conservative conference that was in South Carolina. It was led by a guy named Kirk Shelley. And so Kirk Shelley, he's a political analyst and a political strategist, and he used the example of transgender people. He said, how is it that transgender people have such a low population, and yet they get so many, and he said this years ago, and it gives me goosebumps now, because now that you think about it, it sounds very eerily similar to what Tariq said. He said, how is it that you're like, what, in some areas less than 1% of the population, but you can get so many policies for you specifically? And he said it just like that. He said the transgender community made it uncomfortable to be a bigot against them or to criticize them or to say anything about them. They changed the environment in which you operate. You have to kind of socially terraform this thing. See, that's what Tariq is doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what the Black Alpha here is doing. Afro Elite. Everybody collectively. That's why there's no leader here. Everyone collectively is changing the environment in which people operate. Because I'll give you a prime example. What I do with police, and the video that I put out yesterday, people kept asking me, how can I do what you do? Why are you so effective? How have you gotten more than 100 cops fired in the past 2 years, shut down four freaking departments, and actually had a hand in causing a riot in freaking Rock Hill, South Carolina? How are you doing this? And I tell them, I'm changing the environment in which cops operate. I'm doing that on TikTok. So basically, I know that head to head, I cannot beat the dominant white society. This is a war of attrition. It has to be death by 1,000 cuts. I can't alone, and this is why it's very, very important to not have a leader, a central head, because one person alone can't change anything. This is why, they love talking about Martin Luther King, right? But they don't mention the fact that Martin Luther King, really what he did during the march, and I love that brother, but it wasn't the marches that changed anything. It was his death and the riots that came afterwards. So again, that was a collective effort, whereas Martin Luther King was a central figure. So you saw the difference in what's actually effective there. So a prime example with police again is 2020. You know, once upon a time, if you were to ever criticize a police officer, the automatic assumption is, what did the person do? But now in my comment section, I'm getting white people saying, well, maybe the person was innocent. So now, because of what happened to George Floyd, it has socially terraformed everything. See, that's what we're doing now, and that's why we are so effective. See, I understand that if I'm a shark, I can't be a freaking elephant on land. But if I flood that land, I got a freaking chance. So basically, I love what Brother Afro said because it's what everybody else does. We are like that one character from the Constantine comic books named I think his name is Papa Midnight, and actually, ironically, he is black. There's a movie starring Keanu Reeves, Constantine, and there's actually one scene where he told Midnight, you're the only one still playing by the rules. There's a war between heaven and hell. And I think that scene is iconic for where we've been for so long. We are the only ones who don't play by the rules that are set by the dominant white society and every buffer class out there. We're the only ones who are so friendly, so freaking inviting. I'll give you a prime example, man. Like if you think that we aren't the only ones who do this shit, I want you to go over to Little Tokyo or Little China or go over to the Asian part of your community, and I want you to see how many black brothers do you see married to Asian sisters. You don't see many. That's not by accident. They're only 7% of the goddamn population. We're 13%. So you would think we could actually find some, right? So why don't you really see that? It's because, and pay attention, it's because a lot of them don't like us. A lot of them do things to push us out. A lot of them do things that push us out of their communities, business, industry. It doesn't matter. Everybody else does that to us, and we take it. Not only do we take it, we almost invite it. That stopped when FBA popped up. That's why I support you guys. Not because, you know, I'm some hardcore revolutionary, but because I believe in what you're doing. But also what you're doing, you're going about it the right way. That's why they have to go through all this dirty, shifty, disgusting shit, right? Because you're doing it the right way, and the way you're doing it is effective. And I land my plane.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We got to be very careful in the way we do certain things. And I appreciate what you're doing and the moves that you're making, because that's very powerful and that's very much so needed today as well. We need that. So
Yeah, hey, I'll jump in and add to just what that brother was just saying right there. You know, it's what we always say. They spend so much time, energy, and effort to, you know, the whole foundational Black Americans back because we different. I take all of that as just signs that we're on a different page. We ride in a different wave. And the wave that we ride in has everyone, you know, as I said, petrified. They don't know what to do. If you go back and you look, the way they placed us and the way they viewed us and the things that they try to get us to do, we done broke all of them shackles. There ain't no fucking link left. There's nothing else. This is exactly what they hated. We are right now, all of us in real time, foundational Black Americans, we are what they had nightmares about. They had nightmares about the day that we quit calling ourselves these terms that they created, the day that we got rid of the Democratic plantation. You know, you still got a couple coons here or there, but them coons is getting called out. Later on, that Luke guy, he got his space later on. And it's going to be some bullshit, and I'm calling it ahead of time. As Brother Afro said earlier, this is going to be the best space today. And because why? Because it's foundational Black Americans in the building. It ain't no shills. It ain't no suckers. This is real energy. And this is what we do. This ain't no different than, you know, our family reunions. These spaces feel like block parties. We done literally had spaces, me and Afro, where we roast folks and run them home. You know what I'm saying? We joke, we laugh, we make everybody get real. It's a lot of real emotion because everything we're doing is genuine, it's organic, it's authentic. There's nothing polished and it's nothing fake on this side. Those people, they live off of fakeness. They have to operate through fakeness because that's all they have. They don't have anything true they say about us. They got to literally make up things. They got to make up fake words. They got to go snitch. They got to go tell. They got to try to, divert us. Like Tariq Nasheed says, you got the con games, you got the trick bags. That's all they operate off. But what happens when the cons don't work anymore? What happens when the trick bags don't work anymore? What happens when the confusion, the hoodwink, the bamboozle? What happens to the dominant society when they can no longer run those games on us? Ladies and gentlemen, we're all seeing it right now. We're all seeing it. That's why you go look at your timeline right now, and everything that has anything to do with us is trending. Like I said, reparations is trending. Foundational Black American is trending 3 different ways. The same lineage is trending 3 different times over. Foundational Black and American is trending. Foundational Black American as an FBA, and then FBAS. All 3 of those are trending. Reparations is trending. Tariq Nasheed is trending. People who hate on us are trending. When what's the guy named the Tara or whatever, that little chick that was hating on our brother Tariq, when she had that little space the other day, I don't know who she is, by the way. I never heard of her. That Steven dude or whatever, he's a Democratic shield. I never heard of these people. These are new coons and new bootlicks that they got to go find because the old ones have been ran out of the place. They've all been ran out. And they got to use our names to get any attention. They're basically like I was telling my brother Beatzilla, they're like the old rapper that had to diss the hot rapper to get radio play. They got to mention our name to get radio play. They got to say Foundational Black Americans. That's why Luke, he put FBA in his little title, because he knows if it wasn't about FBA, he have about 5 people in there. Nobody give a damn about that dude. Roland Martin, nobody give a damn about him. He went from CNN to a damn YouTube shows that gets no engagement. You know what I'm saying? I was watching this, no lie, I promise y'all I'm not playing. I was watching Roland Martin. He had a show and he had about 50 people watching his live. Brother Afro Elite gets way more than that. Think about that. The Black grassroots is whooping their ass right now. The Black grassroots are outclassing everybody. They spend so much money to try to prop up all of these mainstream figures, and these people aren't getting any returns. They're not getting any returns. They putting money on the table. They telling Roland Martin and whoever else to go bring down FBA, to go make up lies, slander, smear, and they're not getting it back for it. This is what we got to keep doing, and this is why we got to keep pushing the line that we're on right now, because it's very, very thorough and it's precise. If you look at it right now and you can kind of see the play that they have going, they're saying, well, we're going to give them Hip Hop History Month. We said, no, reparations. They said, we're going to give them Coon-teenth. We said, no, reparations. They try to give us crack pipes while Joe Biden's son is out there just doing raw crack. They tried to give that to us and we rejected all of that. There's nothing that they can do right now. They say, we're going to give you all the Coon Caucus. We're going to say, nah, we're going to give you Brother Marcel. This is what we're doing. We're replacing everything and making real boss moves on our own. So that's the bottom line, and everybody's got to represent that and know that us being on our own page and on our own time gets everything done. Go ahead, Brother John.
Yo, yeah, this is a good conversation. Yeah, I just wanted to just piggyback. One of the main reasons that they keep trying to make Tariq the leader of like FBA and all of this other stuff is because the dominant society, white supremacy, is not used to not going after one centralized leader. You know, even back in the 60s, what did they do? They go after Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. This here, they're not used to going after a decentralized code. They're not used to fighting, you know what I'm saying, something that they can just take out super, super quickly. You know, they're not used to it. They haven't fought against something like this since the 1800s, you know what I'm saying, during the Seminole Wars. So that's one of the reasons why they keep trying to pressure, oh, Tariq's the leader, Tariq's the leader, Tariq's the leader. Tariq, aren't you the leader? No, we're not the leader. Everybody's the leader. What's more powerful than one Malcolm X? 1,000 Malcolm X's. So you're going to have to go after everybody. And that's what we're doing now. Another thing, too, I also want, you know, like you were saying, like we kind of pretty much hit to all their games. Be on the lookout. I can guarantee you're going to have this crazed individual. I don't know from where or what. Somebody had posted a post about it. You're going to have somebody that looks FBA, but it's not going to be FBA. They're going to sit there and say that they're FBA. They're going to go out, try to hurt one of these immigrants, and they're going to have a manifesto and all of this other stuff like that. And then that's how they're going to try to get us to quote unquote say that we're a hate group. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm already seeing the plays on like how they're going to try to finesse us into, you know what I'm saying, this bullshit. So, you know, we on the right track, you know what I'm saying? And also too, I think with the rally, this is just an idea. I think with the rally, we should center Emmett Till, trying to get justice for Emmett Till around FBA. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, we all know about Emmett Till. And I feel like if we bring forth trying to get justice for Emmett Till on a national scale, trying to get Carol Bryant locked the fuck up, and then, you know what I'm saying, I think that'll also bring forth our claim for reparations. Because everybody across the nation knows about that. And I'll land my plane there.
Hey, that's a good point, brother. And I was telling everybody in the room earlier, this right here, we got the opportunity to be the era that actually got reparations and brought Emmett Till, his killer to justice. You know what I'm saying? This is really our time. This was never happening years ago. It just was not happening at all. This is a new era and a new wave, and these type of things are permeating all the way throughout. And I like as well what you said, family, about these little counter moves and the whole propaganda. We are in the 11th hour right now, and supremacy knows it. Supremacy knows it. They always go to the drawing board. I call it the supremacist drawing board. And they go to their little playbook, and they always have to counter what we're doing right now. They're going to always have that. And you guys have noticed, every single time there's any type of mass assault on foundational Black Americans, immediately following that, there's someone else that gets harmed a couple days later, probably on the other side of the country, and that takes us right out of the news. When our brother Alton Sterling and Philando Castile were both harmed, and that was the talk of the town, everyone was speaking about it. A couple days later, a situation happened. You guys Google it, it's out there. I ain't gonna put it all out there. A situation happened, I want to say down in Texas. It shifted the narrative. The narrative went from, why is there so much anti-Black racism, to, can't we all just get along? It's the same thing that happened out there in Buffalo. When that situation happened, right afterwards, the situation happened in Texas. These things always happen. They want to push us out the news any goddamn way. So they're always looking for a new avenue so they can facilitate that. So you're right, brother. I'm completely expecting that, as well as a bunch of other ploys and objectives and scams and schemes to try to knock us off our game, because we know they can't fight us one-on-one. They can't come at us right down the center. They got to come through the fucking window. They got to come through the side door. They got to go underneath the house, through the fucking chimney. That's how it is when you're dealing with FBA. And so what one of the brothers was saying earlier, we don't need a billion folks. We don't need, everybody's right now talking about, how many of us are in this country and what's the population. I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, all I'm caring about is how many are on code. How many on code? There can be 30 million, 100 million, 3 million, 2 million Black folks. I don't give a damn. If you give me just enough who are on code, you're going to see this change, because numbers don't mean nothing if people are off code. And a lot of folks are off code anyway. Look at Africa. Africa right now got all the numbers and still getting their asses whooped. We're foundational Black Americans. We're up against the grain and winning. We're winning. And how do you know we're winning? And I tell this to everybody all the time. If you want to know if we're winning or not, just look at the fact that we're still here. If we were losing, we would have already lost. We wouldn't be here right now. The fact that foundational Black Americans are even still functioning with everything that we've had to go through, that lets you know that we're winners, and we're winners by nature. But before I go any further, I think, John, you want to say something again. Since I got a lot of people in this room, whenever I get a lot of people in this room, I always stop and tell everyone, swing over to YouTube and subscribe to my brother Afro Elite. Subscribe to my brother Beatzilla, my brother Kid Gravity, and subscribe to the Black Alpha Network. It takes 2 seconds. This is the same content that we got, the same content we go. Brother Afro broke it down earlier about all the hurdles and stuff that they try to put on it. So a lot of B1 content and a lot of B1 support is always a good thing. So swing on over and subscribe to the Black Alpha Network, Afro Elite, Beatzilla, Kid Gravity, and so on and so forth. Go ahead, brother John. I think you want to say more.
Yeah. Having a code of conduct is super important, man. Like, yeah, the perfect example would be Africa. The fact that you got people, almost 2 billion people there, and you'll have a few thousand outsiders, bruh, and they'll have clean water, good housing, good plumbing, all of that stuff, lights, all of that, bruh. And the masses, they just can't get it together, bro, and they just fight each other, and that's all out of fear, bro. So yeah, it's all about having a code. Just look at our history, bro. Them Seminole Wars, it wasn't a bunch of Black people fighting. It was only a small section of them, and they was whipping ass. 600 on code Black men is more powerful than 12,000, soldiers in the military. And we won. That's how we got out of slavery. So I'll land there.
Thank you, Brother John. I want to piggyback off of something you said real quick. When you said eventually what they'll do is they'll have an FBA person go out and harm a Black immigrant, and then they'll point back to us and be all like, see, that's because of all of the dangerous xenophobic rhetoric that you guys have been spewing. It radicalizes people, and it makes people hate Black immigrants, and that's why we're being harmed. And they actually have tried to do that with I think his name is Frank something, dude in New York who shut up that subway or that train or whatever. He didn't kill anybody, but he shot it up. They're saying, well, we went through his YouTube, and I said this in my broadcast I did on YouTube. We went through his YouTube subscriptions, and we found out he was subscribed to Tariq and Jason Black. So that means that they radicalized him. Despite the fact that just because you're subscribed to somebody on YouTube does not mean that you agree with what that person says. And we all know Tariq and Jason Black don't preach to go out and harm anybody, especially like that. So that's the tactic that they'll try to do. They were trying to do that with Asians too. They were trying to make us seem like we were the ones out there harming Asians. And to push back against that, and I'm so glad that we did, we pulled up all of the receipts of I'm stemming from Latasha Harlins all the way up until now about how they beat black women up in nail salons, how they treat black people racist. Akai Gurley, the situation with Peter Liang, we pulled all of those things up and said, actually, no. And that's one of my highest grossing videos is when I said, if we want to talk about racism, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about the racism that you guys perpetuate onto our community. We're not going to have the thing where we're out there saying, oh, we're sorry to the Asian community. We want you guys to, well, we need to stop this Asian hate. I was out there saying, hey, if we're going to talk about racial hate, the racial hate comes from the Asians. And that's what we're going to do when these tethers come up and they talk about, well, FBA is harming us. I got a bunch of receipts be all like, okay, well, we're harming you. Didn't you just say you wanted Clarence Thomas ancestors to be lynched? Didn't you just say that the cops aren't shooting black people fast enough? Didn't you just say this? So the second they pull that card, we're going to pull the same card that we did with the Asians when they said that we were out there harming Asians.
Exactly. They don't have receipts on us like that when it comes to, we don't, harm people like that or do anything like that. We don't have, derogatory words or anything like that against a lot of these people. We've uplifted a lot of these people. So, it just comes back to work in our favor, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is that a lot of immigrants don't understand too. It's like, yeah, you can inherit your honorary whiteness, but understand what honorary whiteness also comes with the inheritance of the burden, the blood that's owed by white supremacy. See, they don't understand that, and white supremacy does. So that's what they're trying to do. White supremacists want to pretty much just put off their debt on somebody else, and they don't understand that they're nothing but pawns in it.
Hey, y'all remember when all that stuff started happening with the anti-Asian hate? We were literally outing some of those people that looked like they was straight out of a goddamn black exploitation film from the 1970s. It was a complete joke. They couldn't even make the lie good. Their lies is trash. This is what we always talking about. Whenever they start speaking on foundational black Americans, they just go down to the most desperate, dingy, raggedy ass lies they can find. They was literally pulling out actors and bums off the street. They was throwing punches and missing. Everything that they tried to pull, we were calling out. We were rejecting it. We were exposing it. This is exactly why they started to really hate foundational black Americans, because not only did they see that we were separating ourselves from everybody and we were representing our own heritage and culture, they started to also see that we're very intelligent. And they know this. They've been known this. And let everybody get it clear. Foundational black Americans, our intelligence is well known. This is why they go to the lengths that they have to. The whole world knows who we are. And I say this to everybody in the team. If you look at it and you look at it from a real clear aspect, name me one true ally to foundational black Americans on this earth. I'll give you the whole earth. We don't even have to say America. We don't have to say the Americas, North America, South America. I'll give you the whole planet. Name me one group, ethnicity, country, continent that you can find a genuine, sincere, consistent ally to us. Zero. There aren't any. I'm not talking about the 2s or the 3s. I'm not talking about your friend Jorge or your friend Muhammad. I ain't talking about none of that. Your friend Chan, none of that shit. Name me a real, genuine ally in masses that have ever assisted foundational black Americans. A lot of you guys seen the tweet that I put out earlier this week when I said it clear. I said, immigrants did not build America. Jamaicans did not create hip hop. Puerto Ricans did not create break dancing. Haitians did not free us. And I seen so much kickback from people that were literally trying to argue with us about our own heritage and lineage. It's to the point where tethers basically just think we didn't make nothing up. We didn't make nothing. We just done nothing. We just been sitting here in this land, twiddling our fucking thumbs, not doing a goddamn thing. They literally are taking everything, like every single aspect, every single creation, every iota of what foundational Black Americans have facilitated and created. They're trying to say that we did not do so. So when they're raggedy ass heads, first off, they're lying, but we'll give them for the sake that they think that they're telling the truth. They really genuinely think foundational Black Americans haven't created everything, but if you turn off the goddamn sound, they all look like us. They all look like us. They're sitting here talking down on FBA using our slang. Our slang. They're literally using our slang, bruh, Gucci, I'm straight, I'm good, but y'all ain't got no culture. You know we got a culture because you're using it right now. You dressing like us, you acting like us, you walking like us, you talking like us. You can't sit there and say that somebody has no culture when you're the embodiment of trying to bite they shit. They just swagger jackets. And I really realize, and I don't think a lot of people understand, we get it, but a lot of outsiders don't get it. The hatred, the vitriol, and the spite that they have for foundational Black Americans, and I'm talking about the tether class, the buffer class, is extreme. There's no dealing with these folks. The best thing is to either ignore them or reject them and move them out the way. But they have no type of ally. They're not here to be friends. All that kumbaya shit, that's a lie. Everyone does that to FBA. They attack us, and then when we respond, they say, let's be friends. I seen it in that Luke space the other day. They would sit there and just throw darts at FBA. As soon as we would speak up, they said, man, y'all being divisive. Dr. Umar. I got to get on Dr. Umar. I met Dr. Umar before, but I'm about to get Dr. Umar. Now, it's on one. Umar, if you're listening, homeboy, you can play this back on the Black Alpha Network. Dr. Umar, first off, he's living in Disneyland. Okay. Matter of fact, Disneyland is more true than Pan-Africanism because at least I can point to you where Disneyland is at. Okay. Pan-Africanism, the only way you can point to that is you point at their fucking head because that's the only place where it existed. Pan-Africanism is not dead. Pan-Africanism never existed. And Dr. Umar is running around here talking about it's tribal beefs and tribal differences and we're being divisive. Let me ask you this, family. How can I be divided with somebody I was never connected with? To be divided means that we were standing side by side. To be divided means that we were on the same team, the same accord, the same page. We were never on any of that with them. So there's no divisive thing. And I say this to all my foundational Black Americans. Be divisive is hell. If you are not being divisive, then you need to check your Blackness, okay? You need to be divisive. I wake up every day and be as divisive as I can be with these other groups. It's a goddamn good thing. Being divisive is a compliment. I am the most foundational Black American, divisive with other groups, motherfuckers on the earth. If that's what it takes and that's how they feel, good. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to continue to be divisive because what divisive really means is that we're representing ourselves. We're representing our culture. We're representing our lineage and our heritage, and we're doing for our own. You're not walking in this foundational Black American house, bumping the goddamn dog, knocking mom out the way, walking through the living room, and just going straight to our refrigerator, opening the door and taking food out and then taking that shit back home. That's not happening anymore. So if that's what you think being connected is, then goddamn it, I'm the most divisive motherfucker you're going to find. And it's going to stay that way. It's going to be that way. And we're going to continue to represent it. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, make sure you're the most divisive person to the diaspora and fuck their feelings because their feelings is already hurt anyway. Brother, I think it's a hard truth. Go ahead, fam.
Wait, let me just get one word in real quick. I want you to understand that these people can't even get on code with calling us divisive. You have half of them talking about foundational Black Americans, we're divided and we need to unite as a people to defeat white supremacy. And then the other half is still calling us tethers and akadas. I mean, not tethers, but they still calling us akadas, still saying that we don't got no culture. They can't even get on code to spread a lie. That's how off code these people are. There's not even enough Pan-Africanism for them to successfully perpetuate a lie. I want you guys to understand that. They're all like, why are you guys hating on us and we haven't even done anything to you and you guys are just jealous that we're smarter than you guys. And then we're all like, okay. And then the next day you got somebody else like, oh yeah, I hate Black Americans. I want them to be lynched by the KKK. And then we like, see, that's exactly what we're talking about. And I know they pull him to the side like, damn, Mustafa, why did you say that? You're messing up the game for us. We're trying to play the victims here. When y'all go out there, y'all call them akadas, y'all messing up the bag. So they can't even get on code to hate on us. But that's all I wanted to say. Hard Black Truth, you can go ahead.
Hey, before you go, Brother Afro said Mustafa. Hey, he was probably at that Joe Law Festival with Akon. Go ahead, the hard truth. It's on you, hard truth, fam.
Peace, family. Black first. I guess I'll be the resident non-FBA here. And you know what? I'm gonna keep saying it. Y'all gotta keep up the same energy, man. So for everybody who thinking like there might be a slowdown or things might calm down or maybe your ass ain't gonna itch as much because everybody ain't saying the same things about non-foundationals and black immigrants. Nope. Me personally, I'm glad that y'all doing what y'all doing because, for a long time, we were just out here calling everybody a damn coon. Everybody was a coon when they was saying some off-code shit. And come to find out, it was just people that weren't even part of the goddamn family. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even attached. They didn't even want to be attached. So, when folks say the cosplay and things like that, you can't really cosplay black skin, but yeah, you carry the mannerisms, you carry the dress style. You know what I'm saying? You with everything exterior you try to put on like you are a black American when you are truly, in fact, a black immigrant. And instead of recognizing that, acknowledging that shit, and then moving accordingly in solidarity with your brethren, you out here just trying to get yours, lay up with some white, whatever, and live your life. And that's got to stop. The white supremacists out there, the powers that be, they don't really know how to deal with this situation because they've been able to kind of just pawn off, these non-foundationals, on black society and say, hey, look, that's you guys acting up. Well, you can't really do that shit anymore because there's a distinction being made. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no hate. I appreciate it. I love this. And, in whatever way I could possibly help, I will. My channel has slowly but surely began to focus more on these folks that carry lineage similar to mine. And I'll continue to do that because it has to be done. Be one.
Black first, brother. Before we get to Jay Winfield, I want to say there's always somebody hating. There's always somebody in the quote retweets talking about the space, talking negatively about the space, but don't request to speak. If y'all have something that y'all don't like, if y'all heard something that y'all disagree with, you can feel free to request, and then you can air out your grievance there. But don't take it to the timeline as if we didn't let you speak. That shows you're wrong. That shows you're scared because you don't want to be embarrassed in front of everybody. If what you were saying was correct, you should be able to stand on it. You shouldn't be hiding in the quote tweets, trying to act as if we don't see you. And that's just a little message to everybody out here who's hating on us. But that comes with the territory. Me and Black Alpha, we know that very well. Jay Winfield, you can go ahead, bro.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? B1. I just want to make a quick point. One thing I noticed, I mean, it's been kind of obvious. I don't know if y'all touched on it. It's when a lot of black immigrants, they kind of share the anti-black American vitriol. You always see like the Pan-Africanists kind of give them cover, kind of let them slide. Then they get on us when we try to defend ourselves and stuff like that from such like heinous attacks and stuff like that from black immigrants. And they always say like, oh, you want to stay on the land with Massa and this, that, and the third. You're an Uncle Tom or you're a coon for trying to embrace your black Americanism, stuff like that. And I always thought that was annoying because they never ever call out the the BS from the diaspora, and it just kind of just make me look at them sideways.
Not only do they not call out the BS from the diaspora, notice they don't even call out white people. When they come over here and they talk about how they get bullied in school, well, it was a video I did where the Haitians were talking about, oh, I got beat up every day, every single day. I got off the bus and I had to run for my life because black Americans were trying to kill me just because I was a Zo, which is like a Haitian tribe or something. Just because I was Haitian meant black Americans were trying to beat me up. So they'll go on platforms, stages, podcasts, whatever the case may be, and they'll say, black Americans, we were racist towards them. We were hating on them. We were picking on them, Candace Owens. We were picking on them, beating them up for just no reason besides the fact that they weren't born here. But they never, ever, ever say that about white people. Do you? I want you guys to honestly really think. Do you hear them complain about white people? Do you really hear them do that? No, not really. They have more smoke for us than they do for white folk. In fact, they have the very opposite reaction that we do. When we say this is about racism, they tell us stop saying it's about racism. They tell us to leave white people alone, to stop blaming white people for everything. White people aren't racist. We just need to work harder. We're just lazy. Slavery ended a long time ago and we don't deserve reparations. That's what they tell us. So how can we team up with somebody against white supremacy if they're acting as if they're the defense for white supremacy? When we say we need to get something, and this is why it's very important, and shout out to Tariq for doing this, but because when we have separated ourselves from our own different group based off of our lineage, we can tell who are the people. What is the common denominator of the people who kept caping for white people all of these years? What is the common denominator of people who kept undermining us for all of these years? And that was them, the tether class of the immigrants. That was them coming up here saying, it's not all about race. I mean, are we sure it's about race? We don't know that. Why you mean to white people? I'm gonna tell you, I had a space. I literally had a space about Asian racism, and the only people to defend Asia's racism were non-FBA. Non-FBA tethers came up in there defending. Literally the Asians agreed that they're more racist than the tethers did. The tethers came up here like, well, I mean, we got to understand racism kind of does go both ways, because how didn't you make fun of their eyes at one point in school? So they come up and they defend racism every chance they get. So not only do they complain about us, they don't ever complain about white people, act as if white people is literally Jesus to them. I just had to say that. Black Alpha, is there something you needed to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me piggyback off that. That's a good point, brother. Family, let's put some receipts on the table. Let's call out some receipts and some contradictions that we consistently see with these tethers, these buffer class people. Did y'all hear what Brother Afro just said? You literally have tethers literally siding against foundational Black Americans when the group that he was referring to were actually agreeing with us. This is how low budget they ass are. They not worth the food stamp. As I say, they $2 tethers, point blank. And calling them $2 is stretching it. Let's look at what they talk about here. Half the time, they never acknowledge white supremacy. They never acknowledge racism. That was their play. They were always telling us, well, you guys just need to quit complaining. Y'all need to work harder. Racism's a long time ago. Get over it, right? That's what they were saying on A. But when we started talking about reparations on B, then all of a sudden they start saying, well, reparations can't be about lineage. It has to be about racism. I thought you all said that racism did not exist. On one hand, they tell us racism did not exist. We need to get over it and work harder. And when we start talking about cashing some reparations check, now they want to acknowledge racism. Now they talk about, well, I had it bad when I come here and they treated me just like you. That's funny because before we start talking about reparations, you told us that there was none at all. Zero, nada, zip. So this is how they flip-flop back and forth. As I said earlier, they'll sit there and tell us that we're not real Black folks, we're Akatas, and we don't represent that. That's what they used to say. As soon as we start talking about reparations, now all of a sudden it's flat Blackness and we all Black. So they went from y'all not Black to we all Black. They went from there's no white supremacy to they're victims of white supremacy. They just jump back and forth on wherever they can go. They try to get in where they can fit in. This is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a tether. And when they start talking about all the issues on why they got their ass whooped in their homeland, because let's put some receipts on the table. Let's pull out some real FBA spoilers up in here tonight, because we dropping that real smoke. They'll sit here all day long, and they have always sat here and told us that the reason why they got conquered and the reason why they got dominated on their own turf is because they had tribal differences. How many times have we heard that? Oh, it's the tribes. Oh, we got tribal differences. Well, let's look and let's examine why they have those tribal differences, and let's look at the falsehoods of those tribal differences. They say they had tribal differences. That's why the Arab was able to conquer them, because remind you, the Arabs conquered them way back in the 600s, before the white man ever did. And then the white man, and now the Asian. So basically the whole fucking world has just took turns dominating them on their own turf. Once again, nobody whoops our ass on our own turf, but they whoop their ass on their own turf, and they have all the numbers. They got all the resources, all the minerals. I seen a guy calling Tariq, this is like 3 years ago. He was trying to tell Tariq, he's like, what do you mean we got resources? Tariq said, brother, you're standing on them. You're standing on your resources right now. You got all the minerals and all the wealth in the world, and you don't even own them. Y'all sitting there handing that shit over. And there's this misconception that they sell their resources. No, they do not. They barter them. When Asians go over there, they make bartering deals with them. They say, you can build a bridge and I'll give you all these goddamn diamonds. I'll give you all of these fucking lithium. What do they call that shit? That goes in your cell phones. They give them all the fucking diamonds. They give them all the wealth. They give them all the lithium. That's the term. They give them all of that. They got all that shit flowing all through Africa, and they hand that shit over. And they don't do it and get money in exchange. They do that, and what the Asians do, they'll build a goddamn bridge. They're over there getting their asses whooped. The Asians have their own airports and everything. They're bartering their own deals. So you get your ass whooped by the Arabs, you get your ass whooped by white folks, you get your ass whooped by the Asians. And it's all because you have tribal differences. But that's funny because it seems like you have a different of opinion when the tribes are black. See, when they got a different black tribe, then it's beef and it's smoke and all that. What's a bigger difference of a tribe than the colonizers? The colonizers represent a whole different tribe from a whole different land. Y'all don't have no problems with them. They're completely cool by y'all. But if another tribe comes over to you guys got a problem with them. You got a problem with the motherfucking tribe on the other side of town. You got a problem with the other tribe on the other side of the river. You'll have issues with them. The Nigerians, the goddamn South Africans, people from the Congo, the people from Senegal, they'll all beef with each other and say, oh, it's because we got tribal differences. But the Asian comes over here. He's a different tribe. How come you guys give him a good time? How come you throw parades for him? So it seems like the only issue you have is with other black people. And we have to understand in their heads, they have a real stark bitterness with other black folks. They're not like us. We were running around here for years thinking everybody's black. We all black. We all on one page. What up, brother? What's good? You from way over there? You from Jamaica? Cool. We all black. You from Haiti? Cool. We all black. You from Africa? We all black. That's how we thought. They don't think like that. Matter of fact, when they see other black people, the first thing they think of is conflict. But when they see an Asian, they think love. When they see a white person, they think friend. When they see an Arab, they think brother. And this is the deep, fundamental, rooted hardwiring that they have. And this is why we cannot deal with them. And it's hard for us to associate with them. On top of what Brother TBA says, they have a backstabbing culture where if they can't get it, they'll sink the whole goddamn ship. They don't give a damn. If they can't get one piece of what we have, look at it right now. They want our reparations. And if they can't get our reparations, they talking about, well, y'all ain't going to give us no damn reparations. Then we're going to make y'all a hate group. We're going to sign the goddamn pension. Over and over. Like Brother Afro said, by the way, it looked like the same person has been signing that damn pension 5 different times over. But this is what they do. If they can't have a piece of your pie, then they're going to make sure nobody gets it. That's a backstabbing culture. We don't have that culture. A lot of times when it comes to us, we're real to a fault. What do they say when keeping it real goes wrong? We're so real sometimes that black Americans will put ourselves in a bad position just because we're loyal. We're loyal to the soil. They're not. They will corrupt the whole goddamn soil. They'll corrupt their generations ahead. They'll corrupt their women. They'll corrupt their kids, their family, all for everything. My homeboy, he always says it. He said they'll sell out their whole fucking family for a bag of rubies. That's why their politicians will sit there and have literally apartheid, literally have massacres, and they'll hop on a plane and go to Europe. That's why all of their politicians, their kids, all speak with a damn British accent because they're going over there to Oxford University. They don't even live there. We don't play that shit. They don't play that because when you deal with us foundational black Americans, look how we press Clyburn. Look how we press the Democrats. All these little panels and these committees that they have, we go there and show up and say, you're not going to throw us under the bus, but now neglect is over. You're going to represent us the same way that we represent ourselves. And if you do not, you're going to have some problems. Africans, oh no, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a damn about that. They'll say, all right, cool, man. All right, peace out. And then they'll hop on the plane. They'll go to England and they'll just watch their people fall and they won't think twice about it. So this is the difference between us and them. These are receipts. Nobody can dispute that. They can run their mouth all day long and say, this ain't how we think. You guys are xenophobic. No, we're telling the truth. And whether they want to admit it, accept it, or acknowledgement, that is exactly what it is. And we're going to continue to put pressure on them because when foundational black Americans separate, when foundational black Americans do our own thing, it lets the tether class know that they can unravel that motherfucking tether off of us and go get your own. And they know they can't get their own because if they could, they'd have never fled here. They're used to eating off the plate that we prepared. We make the plate and they eat the food. So now we saying, nah, you can't have ours. You can't have that. We're taking it over here on our own space. And now they don't know what to do. They're what I call racially homeless. They sitting there trying to get what foundational Black Americans have made. They're trying to get what foundational Black Americans have created. They're trying to get what foundational Black Americans have presented. And now they can't have it. So you have hissy fits, you have pensions, you have temper tantrums. They whining, they crying, and they upset. Well, they're going to go cry in the car. Matter of fact, they're going to go cry in the Congo. That's where the fuck they're going to go. They're going to go cry in the Congo. And we're going to be over here in foundational Black America doing what we always do, and that's winning. Go ahead, Brother Jay Winfield. I seen you had your hand up.
Oh no, I think what both of y'all said, perfectly encapsulated, my thoughts and sentiments. Another thing I would want to add is that, the whole thing with gender wars, a lot of that stuff kind of come from tethers, and when you start seeing like the attacks of people being lynched, being killed by the police. And, you just start to think, sit back and think like, you wouldn't really think that would come from, foundational Black Americans. When we come from an experience of, being oppressed by white supremacy, it would be from people who don't have that same experience, who come from, these backstabbing cultures. But pretty much what y'all said, captured everything. Thanks, B1.
Brother Afro, I want you to explain to people, man, because I know me and you spoke about this before. Explain to people all the tethers that pop up in our little comment sections, and I literally seen a guy, a tether, popped up in Brother Afro's chat the other day, made a donation, and just hated on him. Basically, he paid the troll. Basically, this is how low budget they are. Tell people what you be seeing, family.
Yeah, he did. He donated to the super chat just to troll. Just because he wanted me to see his trolling so much, he donated to the damn super chat. Which, as much as I hate trolls, I don't mind them trolls. If you're the troll that's gonna pay, you can troll all day. The whole chat room could be filled with trolls just paying money. I do not have a problem with that. But we deal with a bunch of different types of tethers, and I'm glad that you asked that question, because there's not just one type of tether. There's different types of tethers. You have the tethers who act as if, and I kind of broke it down a little bit with the COINTELPRO thing, but they use their tactics. They use the first "I'm confused" tactic. They use the "where is all of this hatred coming from? What does FBA mean? I don't understand this. I thought we were all family. Why are you guys so angry?" They act obtuse. They act like they don't know what's going on. They ask us a bunch of questions because they're trying to waste our time. Those are tether tactics when they come up. FBA has been trending for the last couple of days. FBA, Foundational Black Americans, Reparations, and Tariq. I think all week long Tariq has been trending. So they know about us. Best believe they know about us. But when they come in our spaces and they act as if they don't know, that's just to waste our time. When they act in our spaces, we're like, well, yeah, I just heard about reparations. So how is that supposed to work? Is it going to be like a land thing? And how do we know who gets reparations? That's a tactic of tethers. Another tactic of tethers is projection. When they're saying stuff like, oh, all you guys do is sit up there and talk about Black immigrants. That's all you guys do is talk about us, and you guys hate us, and you want the worst for us. That's projection, because that's what you guys are doing. That's what you guys are doing. You guys are up there talking about FBA doesn't have a culture, how you guys are better than us, how you guys come here and do better than us. So we have the projection tethers. We also have the $5 FBAs. We have tethers who got strong ass accents. You can tell, okay, this person is from the Dominican Republic or something. This person is clearly not FBA with that accent. And they be all like, oh, what are you talking about? I am FBA. My mother and my father were born here, and we have lived here all of our lives. And I'm all like, well, not with that accent. What accent? I don't know what you are talking about. I do not have an accent. So you have the $5 FBAs who come in, and then they want to say, I am FBA just like you. And I feel like we need to go back to Nigeria and donate. I have a GoFundMe for Nigeria because I am FBA, and I want you guys to donate to Nigeria, not because I am from there, but because I am Black. So the $5 FBAs, you got to look out for them. Then you just got to look out for the FBAs who just want the vitriolic, not the FBAs, the vitriolic tethers, the ones who say we got to look out for, they want Clarence Thomas's ancestors to be lynched by the KKK, the ones who say we're bullet bags, the ones who say police aren't shooting us fast enough, the ones who condone and promote the harm and death of foundational Black Americans. Those are really the most dangerous ones. Those are the ones who, when white supremacy needs somebody to be an eyewitness for them, they say, yeah, and he was reaching for a gun. I saw it myself, massa. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different types of them. And there's degrees to those types, but those are like the categories of tethers.
I've been noticing a lot of these tethers nowadays, like you said, brother, they're like these little camouflage tethers, and they're like clones, and they mimic us. You know, I'm seeing it everywhere. We got to be careful about these tethers who try to penetrate our society and penetrate our spaces and speak on those. That's the thing tethers love to do. They love to speak on our business. That'd be the equivalent of your neighbor coming in your house and trying to tell you what's for dinner. You know, or they're trying to tell you to pay his light bill. We don't go for that. Like, once again, these are all things that foundational Black Americans don't rock with. Like, they don't understand our culture is not based on backstabbing. Our culture is not, you know, based on being disloyal. We don't have a culture of that. Anybody who does that type of stuff, because somebody's going to say, well, you got Black Americans who sell each other out. Yeah, and they get called on it. There's not one thing that you do that's off code where we don't call you out on it. The very fact that we have a term called the code, and on code and off code, that is drawing a line down the center of what's good behavior, what's bad behavior, what will be tolerated and what won't be tolerated. We make sure everything that we do is very clear and precise. We don't play, we don't stab people in the back. We don't do any of that. And this is basically what they breed off of. This is why it's hard for us to really have business dealings with these folks. But you see them come into our spaces and they try to speak on this. Luke is having a space and he's sitting there talking down on FBAs, but yet he's talking in FBA country. That is a contradiction, and that's wrong. Roland Martin, he's a tether, and all he does is talk about Black folks all day. First off, he's not a spokesman. He should be a fucking spokesman for KFC or goddamn Pizza Hut. But he tries to speak on us like he's some type of spokesman that ain't nobody call for him, didn't nobody represent him, and he's a tether. He has no credence to speak on what's going on right now. There's other groups out there, you know, run around and they say that they're FBA, you know, delineation, and they represent FBA, but I'm pretty sure one of the leaders is Haitian. He's got the jawline that's clearly Haitian. I don't know how this guy's the head of any FBA group, but these type of things, y'all know what I'm talking about. And there's these type of things that happen all the time where you'll start seeing tethers at the lead of FBA groups or FBA panels, and this doesn't happen. We don't go over to Nigeria and sit in on a panel and start dictating the future politically and socially for Nigerians. We don't do that. We don't go down to Brazil and start speaking on Brazilian issues and Brazilian affairs. We wouldn't even be allowed to do that. They would come after us with everything they had if we ever even thought about that. But once again, we don't think about that because we don't give a damn. That's not our aspect. We don't think on that level. We don't really include ourselves in other people's affairs. The whole world includes themselves in ours. They'll come over here and they'll try to mix with us. They'll try to hang with us, and they only do that so they can divert us. Remember this: anytime you allow somebody to come into your space, that's basically like a designated driver. You're giving them the keys. And once we started talking about reparations, everybody wanted to be a designated driver. They want to put their hands up and say, oh, okay, I'll drive you home. I'll drive the bus. Because once you put that in their hand, now they determine where we're going. And the beautiful thing about it and the luxury we have now is that we are not allowing anybody to have the keys to our car. We are going to take us where we want to go. All of us, all us brothers and sisters in this panel right now, all the beautiful Black, foundational Black Americans, man, we are in here determining our own destiny. And wherever this goes is going to be where we take it. And that's what I love the most about it, because when the boule, the mainstream, the tethers, the buffers, whenever they're in charge or they're in command, we go where they take us. That's why we ended up in all these dead end places that did nothing. That's how you ended up with the POCs and the Black and brown coalitions and the minorities. This is how you had all these things, because we weren't driving. It was the Black mainstream. They were the ones doing all the driving. But now, foundational Black Americans, we're controlling where we're heading. So we got to always watch out for these ops that come into our reparations panels. They come into our tangible discussions, and they start saying, well, what we should do is this. And we'll be talking about reparations, and they'll start just talking about some shit that has nothing to do with it at all. Y'all remember that little W lady that was calling in, trying to get cool with Brother Marcel and talking about she supports reparations? She got outed because what she was really trying to do was she was trying to say, all y'all Negroes, why don't you go ahead and bring me in as an ally and then you can give me the keys to your reparations claim, and I'm gonna drive this where I want to take it. And she would have took that shit to every other group except for our lineage. So this is what we have to watch for. This is what we got to keep our eye out on. And anytime you see what I call a reparations op, a lineage op, a heritage op, a culture op, make sure you expose them and run them out. And I don't care who they are, and I don't care who supports them or who gives them the green light. If you see that shit and it's out of line, it's off code, and it's out of pocket, make sure you remove it, because the only people who are going to determine our destiny is us, because we all we got. Go ahead, brother Afro.
If you guys are liking what you guys are hearing here, I need you guys to go in that Jumbotron and subscribe to our brother Black Alpha on YouTube. And since you're in the Jumbotron, you might as well subscribe to me too if you guys haven't done so already, so you don't miss out. Because these spaces that we host here, they do get played back on YouTube as well too. So you guys, if you guys are like just coming in and you want to hear from the beginning, you guys can go to YouTube a little bit later on when this is posted. But I definitely want to piggyback off of what you said real quick. And just to let everybody know, if you want to come up and speak, somebody just DM me that I didn't let him speak or his hand wasn't raised or something like that. I'm not sure if Twitter's having an issue, but I didn't see your hand or I didn't see your request to speak. So if you guys want to speak and you guys haven't been able to, just try again or DM me and I'll try to get you up here to speak. I'm not sure what's going on, but you know how Twitter be hating on us. But to piggyback off of what you said, Black Alpha, we are changing things. We're moving in our own direction. We're not allowing the influence of other people to come and stop us. As Jason Black said in one of his broadcasts, we've made more progress within the last few years than we did in the last 50 years of voting for the Democrats. We've been voting for the Democrats literally for generations, so much so that people just get out every time it's the time to vote. They don't even know who they're voting for or what they're voting for. They just know I need to get out and vote for a Democrat. That's literally all they think. Let me just get out there and vote for the Democrat. It's ingrained in their mind like that. And for generations, we've been voting for the Democrats, and we've been voting for the quote-unquote lesser of two evils. We've been put off. We've been told that everybody else is more important than us and that we just need to wait. And we've been playing the waiting game for the longest time. And now that we say, you know what, we're not going to let you handle it anymore. We're going to take matters into our own hands and we're going to handle it our way, the way we see fit. And the way we see fit isn't inclusive. The way we see fit, yes, it is divisive. The way we see fit is what we're going to do. And that's going to be the new normal going forward. And we've made progress. I want you guys to think, out of all of the years we've been voting for Democrats, you didn't see Democrats going after police, not nearly as much as they are today. When Obama, the first quote-unquote black president, was in office, you had police killing black people left and right on camera in a lot of cases and getting away with it scot-free. You don't really see that today. You do not really see that today. The second a black person gets shot on camera, you see black people pulling up at the mayor's house, being all like, hey, you need to do something about this or else it's going to get real ugly. Just like our brother Jalen Walker. We're not letting that situation die down. A few years ago in the Obama generation, he would have been like, I'm sorry to hear that about a brother Jalen Walker, but we got to go home and peacefully protest, not make any noise. This isn't Black America, white America. This is everybody's America. So we're not on that anymore. We're making more moves. We are out here searching for Carolyn Bryant like she's a damn terrorist. We're not following anybody's direction anymore. We're moving by our own beat. We're moving on code. We're not voting anymore. We're not playing the long game. We're not playing, it's a chess game. We got to play chess. No, damn the chess game. We threw the chessboard off the table when we say, actually, let's fight. And we're making more moves that way.
There's two principles and two quotes that I heard a long time ago, and it literally encapsulates what's going on right now in terms of what we have going in terms of our advancement. The first one being is your oppressor's behavior doesn't change unless your behavior changes. When you are going along with the oppression, then they're going to continue to oppress. When you're going along with the abuse, then they're going to go ahead and Keep it going. They won't stop. They ain't gonna stop unless you stop. So the fact that we've stopped and we've actually put a break on our behavior from the past, like Brother Afro was just speaking about, and he put it perfect. When the Obama era, and I remember the Obama era, I mean, it was the most coon train ass shit ever. I mean, it was just pathetic. It was crazy. But at the same time, it was actually inspirational to see how we've made so much change in between that era to right now. You're only really talking about two different presidents. You had Trump that came after, and then we're about halfway through Jim Crow Joe Biden. And in that small amount of time, Black folks went from yes, we can to no tangibles, no vote. That's massive. That's major. We went from African Americans to foundational Black Americans. We went from reparations being something that was a pipe dream and people laughed at or joked and thought could never happen to we're on the cuff of making it happen. We're on the verge of making it happen. And it's all thanks to the Black grassroots. So we can thank ourselves. That's the thing. It's not something where we can look at and say, oh, it's because of this. No, it's because of all of us. We have so many intelligent, beautiful Black brothers and sisters right here, foundational Black Americans, who have G-check. We regulated. We made everything airtight and made sure anything that we produce or we promote is in our best interest. So that's the first thing. So if your behavior does not change, your oppressor's behavior will never change, and we've changed our behavior. That's great. The second one is if you give somebody the ability to feed you, you're giving them the ability to starve you. So we quit waiting for Massa or the Democratic plantation to provide us things. We quit, waiting for them to say, well, here you guys go. We're going to give this to you. Because when you ask for something, motherfucker, you on their clock, you on their watch, you on their time, and they could just stall us out. Supremacy's got all the time in the world. They don't mind stalling us out and just waiting 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The most, infuriating thing I ever see is when I watch old Black revolutionaries from the 60s and 70s or the 30s and 40s, and I watch them grow old. That just bothers me. You guys can go, if you ever go look at anybody, the Black Panther Party, you could talk about H. Rap Brown, you could talk about anybody. When you watch them slowly get older and to see change that really never came, that just irritates me because it shows you that they were being stalled out. It's the better tomorrow. Better tomorrow. Good trouble. Things are getting better. Watershed moment. Everything's better. We all one big family. There's no more racism. Y'all see it every single time there's ever been any type of assault that has ever happened to a foundational Black Americans. They run the same Kumbaya Khan game. You can actually right now go on the internet and look at the day Martin Luther King was assassinated, and you can literally see the dominant society running the same Kumbaya game that they ran when George Floyd was killed. It's the same thing verbatim to the T. They come out and they say, we're all family. We need to stick together. We're all Americans. We're all humans. Let's get together and we'll solve this. Like Brother Afro was saying, just waiting for the dominant society to wake up and have a change of heart. They didn't have a change of heart for 500, 600 years, but tomorrow afternoon at 3:00 on the dot, they're going to love us. No. And that's what I mean by changing our behavior. And once we change our behavior, things have changed. We changed the verbiage. We changed the names, the identifications. We out here to G-check people. We've seen all the dead weight that does not need to be here. We've seen all the folks that are trying to hustle us and con us, ran them out the block, off the paint. We done took them out the country. Nobody can come in our space now unless you got a security clearance. We checking them. Everybody gets vetted. Everybody gets vetted. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And also, as I said, we quit giving them the ability to feed us. We don't wait for them no more. Now, you still got some old Negroes going to fish fry. A fish fry. They're literally getting fed by the damn Democrats. Literally. They're going and getting fish fry and just voting blindly. That is done. Them days are over. That shit is finito. Anybody who thinks that they're going to come on Foundation for Black American turf and try to tell us what we're going to do, it's not happening. So now that we're building our own, we're creating our own. And not only building our own, we're building with each other. That's what makes a difference. And this is why you've seen that drastic change in that small amount of years. We went from yes, we can to, like I said, all about reparations. We went from Martin Luther King had a dream to tangibles. Now we want resources, and we're not asking, we're not begging, we're not pleading, we're demanding. And to demand something, that's a completely different type of energy. And this is what we've been doing in this era. We've been demanding everything that we do. I don't care if it's policies. I don't care if it's social justice. We're demanding. We're demanding that they lock up Carolyn Bryant. We're not out there saying, please lock her up. Please take her old wrinkly ass to the jail. Please take fucking Mrs. T-Rex down to the goddamn precinct. We ain't saying that. We saying lock that bitch up, period. That's what it is. And when you got to say it real, and feelings is going to get hurt, good. If somebody's feelings gets hurt when foundational Black Americans start speaking that truth, then they deserve to get their feelings hurt. That's my approach. I could really give a damn because at the end of the day, somebody's going to be winning and somebody's going to be losing. And at the end of the day, foundational Black Americans, we are not losers. We are winners. So therefore, if we say something that the dominant society don't like, tethers don't like, buffers don't like, you're not going to shame us to being nice. They've shamed us for years. Oh, y'all don't serve yourselves. Don't have self-defense. Turn the other cheek. Let them whoop on you. That shit is done. I mean, John Lewis literally said he thanked the police for whooping his ass. I don't know what's worse, thanking the police for whooping your ass or telling everybody that shit for 200 fucking years. Those days are gone. You're not getting that. You're getting pull-up justice. We say this is the pull-up summer. This is pull-up season, and we getting pull-up justice. And pull-up justice, quite frankly, is you got to take it. You got to take it. If it's something that affects you, it affects yours, you got to go out and make it happen. Two types of people. We all know this. The people who watch things happen, the people who make things happen. And we're the ones making things happen. And this is why you've seen this sufficient and substantial change. And the change is growing. I mean, every single day. The change that we have today is going to be even stronger next week. And next week, just go back 6 months ago and look at us where we are today. Every day we're getting better. Every day we're getting more laser focused. And every day everyone's getting more and more scared. That's why we're trending all the way down every timeline. And that's why all eyes are on FBA and they're going to stay on FBA. And if they want to watch a show, we're going to put on the damn show. But I guarantee you this show ends with us getting tangibles, us getting resources, us getting reparations, and being exactly what we are, exceptional people. Go ahead, Brother Afro.
I want to say I got a few people DMing me telling me that they've requested to speak, and I haven't seen their hands up. So if it's giving you a hard time, just let me know. Just like screenshot the fact that you're requesting to speak, because I've seen certain people request to speak, and that's never been an issue, and now all of a sudden it's an issue. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but just let me know if Twitter's giving you a difficult time. But to piggyback off of what you said, Black Alpha, you're definitely correct. You're 100% correct. We're moving differently now. We're changing things differently because we recognize that what we were doing before isn't working. We tried to do things the nice way. We tried to play the long game. We tried to, okay, well, maybe we can vote and then maybe they'll change their mind later. We just got to kind of play ball to the degree that we can because we're so isolated. And this is one of the most powerful things about social media, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. There's pros and cons to Twitter Spaces, but one of the pros is definitely the fact that you can see how many people agree with what you think. You can see how many hundreds and hundreds of people like, hey, man, I love what you had to say. I love this brother over here. I love this sister over here. Everything that you're saying, it motivates me. I have spaces that I'm in, and I'm motivated by some of the speakers in there. I'm motivated by some of the people in this very room right now. Some of the things that I've seen you guys do, that makes me want to get up and be like, hey, I got to get on. I got to do what he's doing. I got to do what she's doing. If they can do that where they're from, I got to do that where I'm from. So when we have spaces like this and you can see that people who are like you, they have your back, they will support you, that's motivational for people. When people feel as if people had their back, that will give them an energy boost and motivation that they didn't have before. Not because they didn't really want to do it, but because they thought, well, what good could one person do? Even though that one person can set a precedent, even though that one person can lead the way. The Black Panther Party only started with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. That was only two people, and it became a nationwide thing. So it doesn't take a lot of people. We all know that. But when you have somebody who you know has your back, when you have a group of people who you know have your back, who you know will support you and will look out for you and have your same agenda, that's motivation to people. So I want to say, you people in this space right here, and I can only see a few names, Twitter's giving me a hard time, but you people, you guys have done things, and I definitely want to tip my hat to all of you. You don't have to be on YouTube for me to see the work that you're doing. You don't have to be on social media even for me to see and acknowledge the work that you've been doing for the people. So everybody who's been doing work, everybody who's been supporting me, supporting Black Alpha, supporting Foundational Black Americans, thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Hey, let me say this real quick to everybody in the room right now. And I got to, shout out my brother. Brother Afro Elite, I'm telling you guys right now, this right here, this is my FBA brother. You know what I mean? Real talk. Me and Afro Elite, we've been following each other and working together since like day one. I'm telling y'all, man, this is like really one of the closest people I'm with in terms of this Black foundational movement. This man is thorough. I'm telling you, he does real activism. This is real activism. A lot of people sit back and they see things happen and they have opinions, and that's good and that's great. But it's all about speaking truth to power. And this brother really translates truth to power, like literally putting it down. All of us, we could be doing anything in the world, but it means something to have some passion for your people. The fact that you really want to go out there and do something. Back in the old days, people used to just watch TV and see injustices and scream at the TV and be like, that's wrong. You know, he should go to jail, and, you know, he harmed that kid, and George Zimmerman should be locked up. And it's one thing to sit there and see things and yell at the TV and be frustrated, because this is anti-Black racism and frustration comes along with it. But it's another thing to say, you know what, fuck that, I'm going to go do something about it. I'm going to go do something about it. I'm going to lace up my boots. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make the change that I think in my mind, that I feel in my heart. And I'm going to go out there and connect with my brothers and sisters. So I say all that to say this. My brother Afro Elite, this brother drove all the way from Chicago to South Carolina to help brother Marcel Dixon. That is activism. That is real. That is pure. Everything that he pushes in terms of, you know, the identity of our people, representing our folks, helping people, assisting people, it all shows. And that's why our brother has passed 2,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. And you guys, I'm telling y'all, that is very difficult to do with all the hurdles and the blockades that they put in front of us. So you got to definitely all the time see people who participate in this movement and understand we got some real ones who really genuinely put it on the line. And it's good to build with each other, and it's good to connect, and it's good to make sure that whatever happens, we stand strong as a team. And our brother Afro Elite is definitely a reflection of that. So every time and every opportunity I get, I salute my family all the way live.
Thank you, Black Alpha.
All time, baby. You already know, family, all the way. I think Matrix was next. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was Matrix, and then P Flawed, and then Jackson. And I'm working on getting everybody who said they can't come up. I'm working on getting you guys up right now.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Because I'm in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I read that Carolyn Bryant's grandson is a politician. Why we don't ask her where she at? I mean, him. Why has nobody asked him where his grandma at? I think he's a politician in Mississippi, a senator or something like that.
That's a good point.
You know where grandma is? I'm done.
Hey, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's somebody right there that we can go ahead and focus on, you know, because, you know, they play stupid. They're going to act like they don't know. The dominant society, that's all they do is what is, what, who, when, where, why. They play all those type of games. So that's a good point right there. Put pressure on all the damn family, and especially if they got politicians in the family. Where they at? Go ahead and get grandma and drag grandma ass out and drag her straight on down and put her in the goddamn jail cell. There will be consequences and there will be repercussions if you play foundational Black Americans. And as I said earlier, that goes for our past, our present, and future. Because every single day, we have to protect ourselves, and that's the present. We got to make sure that our kids get home safe, our wives, our husbands, our cousins, everybody, our mamas, our dads, our fathers, aunts, uncles. We got to make sure that we get home safe because we're in an anti-Black race war. Then you have people out here slandering and smearing our ancestors and twisting their legacy. So we have to protect our past as well. And then everybody knows our unborn children, we got to make sure that when they get here, they're not coming into a world of good trouble. They're coming into a world of foundational Black American B1 pull-up justice. So right then and there, that compromises, you know, everything that they're trying to throw at us. And it also encompasses foundational Black Americans holding each other down, past, present, and future. That's the ancestors, that's the present, and that's the children coming up next. I think I'm not sure who's next. Was it Jackson or P Flawed? I'm not sure.
It was P Flawed.
Oh no, Jackson was before me.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get people up now. There we go. Okay, Jackson, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm not an FBA. I'm Nigerian, but I'm very, very intrigued in what's happening in the United States.
Wait, hold on, brother. Do you know how to raise your hand?
I did raise my hand, yeah.
Like, as a speaker, do you know how to raise your hand?
I did raise my hand, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess Twitter is just giving us an issue, but we got an order, so we're gonna go to Jackson real quick, and then we're gonna circle around to you, but you're gonna get a chance to speak. Okay, so just hold your thought.
Okay, no worries. Thanks a lot.
All right, Jackson, you can go ahead.
Thank you, brother. Big salute to Black Alpha, Queen Alpha, Afro, Elite, Nikki the God in the chat, Kid Gravity, Beatzilla, and Cadillac Black, Myra, and all the family for tapping in to support Black Alpha and Afro Elite. Brothers and sisters, thank you for your permission to speak here. I wanted to say this. When we were separated into our own communities, Black doctors cared for Black men and women, and we didn't have so much medical apartheid on a day-to-day basis. We had more presence in the government. We produced and traded more of our own organic food, and we didn't have so many missing persons and people with their organs harvested. Now, the entire world is exporting North American blood. We're not importing it, we're exporting it. And I'm always teaching about how our people are special, even when it comes down to our genes and our blood. That's another stolen resource immigrants are getting, and Europeans are immigrants. So while on the surface, the conversation may seem divisive, but thanks to integration, we've seen how our community has become prey for all immigrants to set up on our stolen soil and get 7 years free of tax while we pay taxes and endorse their businesses. Watching the entire world profiting from FBA resources and culture. And since everyone is so heavily baptized in our culture, now they want to turn around and say, I don't see it. Two races cooked up a plague and have circulated it around our planet. The same two races having trouble living under the sun. And when people catch that plague, they get delineated, they get divided from their community for the community's safety. So we have to do that. If something is wrong with some of these other groups, we are delineating. So FBA is drawing a line around ourselves, is undoing some of the reclassification of our group. It's necessary, and of course, it's a threat. But with the entire world watching us, of course, they have an opinion about our money and about how we're operating. Everybody's watching. They don't know how to unify, get on code. They don't know any of those things. They're relying until we export it, like we're exporting our blood. They're not going to understand how to do that. We will have to lead by example, and we're winning.
Yes, so we're definitely winning. We're definitely winning. We're definitely making moves. We'll go with P Flawed. You can go ahead, sister. And then we'll go with Eddie.
Yes, yes.
Hold on, bro. You're next after P Flawed.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. B1 to the room. I just wanted to say that we are a very resilient people. We are very beautiful people. We have a wonderful culture. And we are not going to allow ourselves to be taken out, because whether the tethers know it or not, they are acting as human shields to white supremacy. We probably could have been stomped white supremacy out if it wasn't for tethers constantly jumping in our mix, getting in the way. And the one thing they didn't plan on with them always claiming, and I have no problem with them claiming their own heritage. I want you to do that. I want you to celebrate who you are, because when I celebrate who I am, I don't want you to say nothing about it. Here's the thing, what they didn't plan on. By them doing that, it put us on alert, and it made us say, oh, okay, so that's how it is. You get to celebrate yours, but you have a problem with me celebrating mine. So now my focus is my people. That don't mean I don't hate you. That don't mean I'm against you, unless you're a tether, unless you're a white supremacist, unless you're a pedo, unless you're a coon. Besides that, that don't mean I hate you. So now all of our energy and all of our focus can be on our people. And that's one thing I can thank them for actually doing that, because it was very eye-opening. So like I said, we are very resilient. Everybody has their position. Whether you're a person who plans events, whether you're a person who writes about it, whether you're a person who's on YouTube who talks about it, whether you're a person who's on Twitter Spaces, all of us are working towards the goal of our people, whether we know it or not. And history is definitely on our side. So I just kind of want to leave with that and say happy birthday to Mr. Long. If you know, you know, today is his birthday, and be one.
Hello, can I speak?
Yes, sir, family. The floor is yours.
Hi guys, my name is ND Ibo. I'm actually I'm not an FBA or Black American. I don't live in America. I'm Nigerian and I live in Europe. I've been living in Europe for the last 18 years of my life, something like that. I see your struggle. I see all things you're going through. I just wanted to let you know that not all of us, non-FBA, are against you. I see your struggles. I follow all the shootings, the Black American shootings. I follow everything. They traumatize me. I've always said that, you know, as long as Black Americans or FBA are not free, are not moving around freely in America, all of us Black people in the world will not be free, because America is sort of seen as the sort of, you know, first or the best country in the world. Now, I'm not saying this to get any sympathy or anything. I just wanted to let you know that not all of us are terrorists. Not all of us are out here, you know, moving mad or speaking very, very bad about you. I myself, I have a clique of friends I always fight with about Black American and your history and everything you've been through. You know, we fight so much so that we don't even talk. They insult me so much, saying I will never go to America, I will never do this, I'll never do that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. These are our brothers and our sisters. You know, whatever you guys are going through there in the States, we are going through in Europe and Africa, everywhere in the world. I just wanted to let you know, you're not alone in this struggle. I do my part whenever I can. I'm on, Tariq Spaces most times, raising my hand to speak, just to, just to let you know, most of us non-FBA are actually here for you. We believe in you. We support you. We see all you go through. We see what they do to your kids and everything. And I believe, I live in Europe. I've lived in Europe for a very long time. I'm starting to have kids in Europe right now. And I'm very, 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 very scared of, what the future is for my kids, because I've seen racism. I've literally witnessed racism in Europe. It's not only in America. Most of us coming from Africa think that, whenever we get to Europe or the States, things are rosy. White people are going to love us. No, I've looked at their faces. Their faces are not pretty. I've seen their soul. I've always thought of it as my gift and my curse, because I see the most little details in everything. Whenever I watch American movies, I see the most little racist sort of actions in their movies. I was seeing a movie today. What was it called? Sorry for taking up your time. I don't know how to express myself. I just wanted to let you know I support you. What was that movie called? Jurassic Park, the new movie. I literally saw the Black American lady there. I don't know if you have seen it. Every other person is paired up with their family except her. And she's the only one acting like this strong female sort of a figure in that movie. And I think at one point she described herself as liking a redhead as well, meaning that she's a lesbian, meaning that she can have a family, meaning that she can procreate. While every actors and actresses in there paired up themselves with their kids, there's a lot of details in the sort of movies Americans put out. I don't know if I'm the only one who sees that, but it bothers me a lot. They often depict this image of, separated African American Black FBA families. You either see only a female alone acting or a male acting, or the worst of it is you hardly see a very strong Black male actor in most of your movies right now. Every other thing you see in the movies is either a CC, he's either in the background, he's in there, don't matter. I don't know how to express myself. I see these things, it bothers me. It's my gift and my curse. That's how I've chosen to put it down to, But all in all, thanks, Afro. Thanks everyone for letting me speak on the space. It's a struggle. You are not only the one struggling. I support you. Get your reparations. If you can get the hell out of that place, get out. I don't know how to put this. Although it's a land, you're born there. Your generations have been born there. You have as much right as you have to stay in that place. If you have to stay and fight for it, fight for it. But these people, this dominant society, they hate us. They don't want to be like us. They want to erase us. Like in the place I work right now, like I've worked here for a very long time, to the point that I'm starting to teach the people that were under me, but then they get promotion over me. Like there's a lot going on in this world. It's a huge machine. I don't know how to explain myself. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I see it. I hate it. I want to get out. I want to break out of it. I don't know what we can do. A lot of my folks back home in Nigeria, most of them are brilliant. Most of them are dumb. I see their comments. I fight them. I tell them, stop saying these things. You need to be on code with black people. Black people need to be on code. The last one that happened was when Wilder fought Fury. You need to see the charts. You need to see black people fighting and talking down Wilder. I'm like, Wilder is literally the only figure standing in the heavyweights in this place, fighting against this guy. The whole world is against him. Most of white Americans are against Wilder. Why is that? Wilder is your heavyweight champion. But you're bringing this guy from Europe, literally from somewhere in Europe, over there to make him what? The champion of America, or what? He's not even American. Wilder was born and bred. Wilder is a good dude, never done nothing. Always with his kids, always trying to do the right thing. But you black people are trying, mostly from Nigeria. I fight with them so much. I don't know if any of you have noticed on Facebook. I'm always there fighting them, telling them, no, stop saying that. You need to be on code. In front of these people, you need to be on code. When you get home, if you want to speak something bad about him or whatever, stay within yourself. Present yourself out there as a united figure. I fight with them so much. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Sorry for taking your time. I'm really sorry. I just had to get this out of my chest, for real. Thank you, Afro. Thank you, everybody. I continue to listen on the space until I fall asleep. It's almost 11 o'clock midnight here. But you guys, good luck in your struggle. Get your reparations, get everything you wish for. Protect your kids, protect your future. I literally DM'd, what's his name? Your man that just became a billionaire, the Madea guy, the actor guy. I DM'd him. I sort of told him, look, if you can make it, you got a studio now. Why don't you make an all Black American superhero movie? You can do that. Start from somewhere. Make it presented there. Little boys are watching. Little black boys are watching. Little black girls are watching. Try and put the imagery. Imagery is very important. I've always said that. I don't know.
You know what? Let me just jump in real quick. Jump. What you said was very important. Imagery is very, very important. Imagery is very important. These little kids, and I just made a post about this. It's like a Sesame Street character. He's walking by, high-fiving white kids, and then completely dismiss the black kids. Black kids go through that from a very young age. So when they talk about we don't know struggle, we don't know racism, black kids have been facing racism. I can tell you the first time I encountered anything that was racist was I don't even remember how old I was, and it was at the hands of the police. And so and I'm not uncommon with that. A lot of black, especially foundation Black Americans, we can tell you about racism. From the age of us being children.
I see that. I see that.
Middle school. But see that. Real quick, let's let other people get a chance to speak real quick. Right. So let's let BW. You can go ahead. Thank you, brother. I appreciate what you had to say.
Thanks a lot, really. Thanks a lot.
Hello, family. It's good to see the younger folks stepping up because I'm an older person and I've been speaking things like this for quite a while with the younger people. And they seem to not be motivated, to not want to do anything. And family members always want to criticize me because I'm speaking truth. And they act like they don't want to deal with it. So I done fell out with a lot of people in my family because they don't want to fight for nothing. They just want to sit there and just go along with everything. So when Black Authority was talking about the older person, I'm not like that. I have a problem with some older people because they're really content as well. But I'm trying to motivate the young people to get up and do something because I come from a time period where Black people fought for their life to get their rights. And I just find the younger generation is not that motivated. And I respect everybody on here, the younger generation, from holding these spaces and to take up where the older generation or our ancestors that died for us. And I respect y'all for stepping up. Also, when you talked about the immigrants, I have had my experience with immigrants because I'm always reaching out to Black people when I'm trying to do business. And I had went to a couple of chiropractors who was African and they treated me funny. I had they was very rude to me. I had missed appointment when I came back in, and the only thing he had to say, "What you doing back here?" It's very rude. So I stopped going to them. I also used to go to the hair braiders. They're very rude, so I cut them out. Because I'm always reaching out to people, immigrants, for some reason, because I was trying to connect with them, but they never showed me no love. I even was involved in a cooking club where a lady there, she was from Trinidad. And here I am with couple more Black people was there. For some reason, they dropped out, but I figured out why. She showed too much love to these white people. And it's like she acted like she wouldn't even try to connect with me, even though I was trying to, when she was going back and forth to visit her family, I always say, well, how your family doing? And try to hold conversation. And she talked to me a little bit, well, she would never give me the attention she gave to white people. And also, because there was a lot of different cultures there. When the Indian guy cooked this dish and showed us how to cook it, everybody praising him. The food was good, I'm not gonna lie. But when everybody got through eating, we was all socializing because we had so many cultures there. And I was saying, everybody need to, bring their dish, what they cook, so we can get to, know each other's culture. And she got offended. And I said, they asked me, what was you going to cook? I said, I'm going to cook some soul food. And she got offended when I said soul food. Oh, it ain't about race. I said, I'm not trying to make it about race. I'm just talking about because all these different cultures in here. So it's like she turned on me again. So after that, I just stopped going because those people are really selfish. They're self-centered. And they just love white people because I experienced it too many times. So I just cut them out. Even when I went to an African wedding, those people like to show off and act like they got everything going on. That's their attitude. They're very unfriendly. The guys was more friendlier, but not the women. So I just want to say that because I have experience with them. They're very selfish type people. And they just look at us like they're better than us, which they're not. But that's the attitude they got because they want to feel superior than we are. So I just want to tell y'all that from my experience. And I just want to let all the people now that's pushing for things now, I respect you. And I'm proud of you from stepping up because somebody needs to step up.
BW, can I just cut in? And I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry you got treated like that. Most of those people are actually acting like that towards Black Americans because they are intimidated. They're naive to your history. They maybe from what they've heard from mostly white people. They love white people to death. I don't know why. That's where it's coming from. It's intimidation. It's jealousy, not because of some sort of hate towards you. They see the way you talk. They love the way you talk. I see them when they travel to the States for 1 or 2 weeks and come back home. They all want to have United States accent, Black American accent, which is them a lot. They admire you. they're just intimidated. They don't know how to communicate with you. That's mostly what's going on with most of them. And like I said, most of them are very illiterate. Like, is it is it Afro elite or somebody who said most of them, the politicians take all our money and go store them in Europe? This is reality. This is what happens. It leaves most of us. I use ours now. Most of us back home are very illiterate. Although Nigerians are very brilliant, but most of them still are illiterate. If you see comments on Facebook, on Twitter, and everywhere, you clearly know this person is not educated. So family, please, we're not all like that. Most of us support you, especially myself. I apologize for any way you must have been treated. Try and still connect. We are one people. I dream for a day when you all will come back home to us and let's rebuild Africa. This is my dream.
And
this is my dream.
And let
It
me
will never happen in this life.
Let me piggyback off of that. You're right. All non FBA, they're not all like that, and I feel like we need people like you to make sure that you represent your people well, because the issue is that the people who don't agree with the tethers, they're silent. They don't say anything. They don't speak against them. So even if you have to be the lone man, even if you have to be the black sheep of the group, your family, whatever the case may be, you have to make sure that you differentiate your tether class from the rest of the on-code Nigerians or non-FBA, because that's what we've been doing. We call people coons because we want to make it be known, like, hey, Clarence Thomas, all of these people, all of these coons, they don't represent us. They're in their own different categories. So that's what we need the black immigrants to start doing as well too. But Black Alpha, I'm sure you had something you want to say.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you, brother. I can't pronounce your name, family. What are some of the things that you hear when I heard you say you get into it with your friends about some things they say about Foundation of Black America? What are some of the things they say? Can you tell everybody in the room some of the words that they speak about us?
Yeah, Jesus, those are some vile stuff they speak. I don't know how to repeat them here. I'll give you an example. During the George Floyd sort of protest, I was on. I've got this group on WhatsApp. A couple of my friends are there, great Thai friends I went to school with. I was always on CNN watching stuff on Facebook, seeing how you guys were protesting. I was loving that shit. I was telling them this is the time, this is the change that's really coming. Most of them were insulting me, mostly saying, look, you never go to America. You're always talking about Americans, Black Americans. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Why don't they get out from their seat and, try to get educated, get a job? I always tell them it's not, most of them are just not, privy to sort of information I have. I follow a lot of, Black American FBA, as you call them, sort of teachers online and all that, and see, like, I follow Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Umar Johnson, a couple of them. I listen to them a lot, and I sort of picked up a few things, but because most of these my friends they don't follow these guys. They just piggyback of anything they get from the internet, from what the dominant society are saying about Black Americans. The one that gets me most is that you guys are lazy. You don't want to get off your ass and go get a job or work. I always try to tell them it's not the same. I give them this analogy: if you get a white kid and you get a black kid and put them in a box and don't educate both of them, they will both come out both illiterate. In your case, most of you are starved of education while the dominant society educated their people. And that's why you're lagging behind, not because you're not brilliant. I give them an example of the athletes in America. The Black athletes in America are the best athletes in America. Everybody knows that. And that's because you got the opportunity to showcase what you can do. You got the opportunity. If you don't get the opportunity in life, most of these things will pass you by, and many other things they say. Like I literally fight with them. I don't like them. I've told them, if you don't ever talk down on Black Americans. I see them as my brother. If it is, I'm gonna exit this group from you guys. I'm gonna exit this group because I will never stop. I always preach unity, growing together. Even in my group, we get together, we go on holidays and all that. But we can never get together and make a plan to buy apartments, building houses. If we can spend money and in clubs together, why can't we do that in real life? Get stuff together, grow together. You can only get far if you're growing together. They don't see the. I don't know. They don't see these things. Like sometimes I ask myself, is something wrong with me? I mean, is that how do these people not see this stuff? Most of them live in Europe. They all live in Europe, in the UK, different places, and these are things that go on. And like, can't we get together? We have to build this shit together. Let us build this stuff together. But they don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to see, the struggle of Black Americans resonate around the whole world. If Black Americans are free and celebrated today, it will go around the whole world. It will touch the whole Black people in the whole world, because America has been looked as the number one sort of place, you go to for, I don't know, prosperity or whatever, although, some European countries are good as well. But, if, every time they turn on the TV, what they see is, cops shooting Black people, cops maltreating Black Americans. This stuff is going to move around the world, get into Europe, get into different places. It's starting to happen right now. There was a young Black guy who I think he was mentally challenged, and the police here somewhere in the UK, the police were telling him to draw. He just something was wrong with him. He went to a shop or something to buy stuff, and some altercation went up, and he was trying to, he had a knife or something and was trying to fight everybody off. The police came literally and shot him at the spot. Bear in mind, European police don't really carry guns like American police, but at that day, one of the cops there had a gun and he shot this guy. They went to court, and that was it. I know the mom comes around every now and then to buy stuff around that area, So the things happening in America is beginning to move down towards Europe for Black people. They don't see that.
Hey, brother, I gotta we gotta get to some other speakers, family, but
I want to say something before you go to the next person.
No, I am, ma'am. I just ended with him. I'm gonna definitely let you chime back in, and then our brother Elevation. But I appreciate that, brother. Hey, if you have a YouTube, subscribe to Afro Leading Black Alpha Network. If you have it, it's the same energy, and I appreciate you calling and speaking.
Okay, no worries. Thanks a lot.
All right. Go ahead, BW.
Okay, I understand what he's saying. He want to try to get people together, but we tried to get with the immigrants, and they refuse to connect. So we can't continue to keep hoping and wishing. We got to just stay on cold and keep our fight. They got to come to us to say they want to connect to us. We just can't keep reaching out to them and get no response. So that's what I want to say. And also, I never had a real problem with Jamaicans because to me, they act more like us. Because my niece, she married a Jamaicans. He will always participate in the family, although he kept his distance a lot because of his deep accent. But to me, he acted just like us. So I never had a problem with them. It was the Africans. For some reason, they always thought they was better. And that's my problem. And that's all I want to say.
PW, we are not better. We are not better than you. I'm sorry you felt like that. We are not better. We are not better. We are never better. I'm sorry.
I know you're not better. You think.
Okay, I mean, let's make sure we give everybody a chance to speak. And Elevation Allah hasn't had a chance to speak, so let's let him go. But I appreciate everybody in here.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ebo, do you have any African friends who are in the medical profession?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do these same African professionals have animosity towards Black people?
African professionals, most of them are quite educated, but most of them have problems with, FBA, Black Americans as well.
Mr. Ebo, we can get to the point. That's a yes or no, sir. We can get to the point.
Yes.
Okay. So would it be wise for foundational Black Americans who are seeking medical attention to avoid African medical or Africans in the medical profession, because we might receive less care, worse care than other patients, in your opinion, sir?
I don't think you'll be wise. Can I just say something? I am actually a medical doctor.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Okay, so if they have animosity towards foundational Black Americans, what is the incentive for us to seek care from someone who despises us or sees us as being less than human, sir?
I as a medical doctor myself, I should think that it wouldn't matter who's coming to me for treatment. I treat everybody like I should treat the next person, like I've always done. I don't know about the other people, but that's what I try to educate them as well. When you actually do try to give more care to Black people than actually, this is not right to say, but I try to, make sure, let me rephrase that. I try to make sure.
Mr. Ebo, you see what you did there? You centered the conversation on yourself when the conversation is about your friends who have animosity towards Black people. You see what you just did right there, sir?
Sorry, no, what did I just do? Sorry.
Right. So the conversation, the point of the matter is we're talking about your friends who don't like Black people. And that's where I'm drilling down on. You bring it back to yourself and how you provide equal care. That's a bad faith argument, sir. We're listening to you. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
What I'm saying.
I yield the mic, sir. Thank you, sir.
What I'm trying to say is that I try to educate these people about Black people in general. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that they're gonna harm you or not gonna give you the same care just because they see things differently. I should think that they're professional enough to do their job equally as the next person, treating you as the next person like same. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, yeah, we hear you, brother. Go ahead. It was good. Thanks for calling, family. We got to move on and everything. But if you see people out of pocket and they talk down on foundational Black Americans, just like Brother Afro was saying, make sure you check them and put them in line and let them know that what they're saying is false, and just go ahead and give them that good work.
I've always done that. Always. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, and this is what we're talking about. We can get this back on track. This is what we're talking about. It's what me and Brother Afro were speaking on, where all the ally stuff and all these people who, do whatever for us, we got to understand they got to call out their coons the same way we call out ours. And we really roast our coons. Anybody who's coming at foundational Black Americans, domestic or abroad, we don't discriminate. There's this misconception that foundational Black Americans, we only focus on certain people. No, we don't. Everybody who's off code gets hollered at. That's just what we do. It's all about us. And coon, and by the time everybody in here was born, we were already roasting folks who were out of line. This is something that literally has been passed down from generation to generation. It's us identifying who's right, who's wrong, who's got the betterment of the community in their mind and who does not. So we got to continue to give it to anybody who does not understand or has any type of bullshit practices towards FBA. You got to call them out. So I don't really look at anybody's ally card as solid unless they bring in that same smoke. And I want it the same way. If we come at our coons 100%, they got to come at theirs 100%. They got to take the charge too. They can't say, well, I told some people this or I asked them to stop and all that kind of stuff. No, you got to go give it to them. Let them know, because we don't play that either. Over here on this side, we don't sit there and say, can you stop cooning, please? We would be better if you just kind of knock the cooning off. If you could just stop the cooning for 5 minutes, we don't do that. We don't do that. We run their ass off the block, because you got to be very serious, especially the time frame that we're going into right now. This time frame that we're moving in now, things are getting real serious. Shit has gotten very real. Very real. When you start talking about having an FBA rally with a lot of good brothers and sisters in Washington, D.C., trust and believe, that is serious and that is different. That's why every second or third person that you come across is going to be an agent, going to be an op, going to be a Democratic shill or minion or coon or bootlick or whatever term that you choose to use for them. This is what we're going to come across. So what we have to do now in this era, we got to be zero tolerance. Everybody who comes around and says, well, let everybody talk, let everybody speak, let's just have this open door policy, that has never served the betterment of foundational Black Americans. You got to understand who really deserves your attention. You have to understand who really deserves the microphone, and you got to understand who really deserves to get a word in. That's how you have things like that Roe versus Wade rally or whatever that was, and that black lady showed up and she starts talking about black men go out and vote, and they try to shift the energy. We all know the little playbook that they have. We all understand that they'll show up to all of our rallies and twist them. Remember, the George Floyd protest, that turned into anti-Donald Trump, pro-Joe Biden. The Breonna Taylor protest, that turned into what? Anti-Donald Trump, pro-Joe Biden. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were the #1 benefactors off of the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Rayshard Brooks, the summer of 2020. We sat back and watched them hijack each and every one of those movements. And what has happened in the meantime? What has occurred? Breonna Taylor got no justice. They said, we ain't even going to charge this guy. And then the coon little DA guy, he's running around with his little Karen on the side, quite frankly, taunting and mocking black folks. That's because people were not G-checking who showed up to the protest. You start showing up to a protest that is about anti-black racism, and people have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris shirts on. This, what happened, we watched that play out. Same thing with George Floyd. Same situation with Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin got a slap on the wrist. It's the same exact thing. So any type of rally, protest, march right now, what's going on with our brother Jalen Walker, I don't like when I see the news and I see protests and I see a bunch of W's in that crowd, because we understand they're not there for real. We can play that game and we can act like it and pretend all day long. We know they're only there for one reason. Remember, black folks, they go to everybody else's rallies to assist them. Everybody else comes to our rallies to co-opt them. So therefore, we got to watch whoever shows up. I don't give a damn if it's a Twitter space. I don't give a damn if it's a protest, a march, a rally. It's somebody's funny style. You probably are seeing that for a reason. It's truly because they are. Anybody talking that, yeah, you know, we got to get reparations. But it's also about reparations to all people. They try to all lives matter everything. And then they're going to come and say, yeah, I believe in tangibles for foundational black Americans. But what we really need to do is start by voting for the Democrats. That type of hustle and that type of con game, we got to get rid of those. And we're already on the process of getting rid of those. And foundational black Americans are seeing things before they happen. And that's the best thing about identifying yourself. Once you identify who you are, then you can identify an op. And ops are being seen every single day, and they're getting exposed every single day. Go ahead, brother Afro.
It wasn't letting me unmute myself for a second. Okay, I'm here. And first off, shout out to everything you said. I mean, you just spitting hot fire tonight. Every truth to power. Salute to everything this brother is saying. When I tell you guys, y'all need to follow this brother and go to the YouTube. We're not just saying that because sometimes people be in our spaces. The difference between our followers on Twitter and our followers on YouTube reflects the fact that we be hosting spaces and say, y'all check out the YouTube, and then y'all don't ever do that. But salute to the ones that do. We love y'all and we recognize y'all. I see names that pop up in the chat room. So salute to the ones that do, and to the ones that ain't, come on, what you waiting on? But I'm gonna say this to piggyback off of what our Nigerian brother was talking about, or what I was talking about with him. I'm saying it's very important to categorize people. Now I know that might seem like, yeah, you guys are making fun of people, you guys are separating. Division is very important if you're going to make a movement successful, because you don't want the people who are sabotaging the movement, you don't want it to seem as if those people represent the group. This is why we have always called out our coons, our sellouts, our Sambos, because we wanted to be known. Oh, the people who sit up there talking about all lives matter, they don't represent the group. The people who talking about blue lives matter, they don't represent the group. The coons don't represent the group. The divestors, they don't represent the group. The bed bucks and the bed winches, they don't represent the group. One of the things that I try to make sure I do is I try to represent black men the way I feel like black men should be representing themselves. You would never see me going out sagging my pants and I'm walking the streets and I'm high and smoking a blunt. You would never see me doing that, because I want to make sure I represent what black manhood is supposed to look like. And I see some sisters in here and who do the same thing too. When they see a politician twerking on a handstand or on her head or whatever, they call that out, because they want like, hey, what you are doing over there, that does not represent me. You would never see me out here twerking on a handstand or doing all of that degenerate stuff that you guys are doing. So that's why it's very important that when you see something, you call it out. It's not enough anymore to just, well, I'm gonna just disagree in silence, because when you disagree in silence, the most destructive ones, if they're the only voices heard in the room, it seems as if they speak for the room. You can have a room of 100 people. If the only one that is speaking some nonsense, and nobody else is calling him out, then it seems as if the person who's speaking is speaking for the room. So you guys need to make sure that you guys call that out when you see it. Like, hey, wherever it is, you don't have to like make a whole video about it, but just say, hey, this is not what we do. Hey, I don't agree with this. I be doing that sometimes too on Instagram when I be seeing black men do degenerate stuff. I'm like, hey, as a black man, that does not reflect on me or other black men that I know. They're on their own stuff. This is not a part of what we do. This is not a part of what I do or what I try to preach. So don't try to reflect that onto black men. And I see black women doing that too, and that's what we need to stay doing.
That's a good point, because everything that they ever do when it comes to foundational Black Americans, y'all know how they're going to do. They're going to take the biggest ignorant coon and they're going to put them on the biggest screen that they can find. And that gives a false representation of who we are. And they love doing it. I mean, you could look at some of these hand-picked celebrities that they go after. They know damn well Megan Thee Stallion, they put her up on the biggest screen ever, because out here in the streets, they would never respect her. So when you start seeing these people make, top of magazine spreads and they get all the access to the red carpets and all that, that's for a reason. They do that on purpose. All these horrorcore rappers who talk all that ignorant shit on them songs, they put them in front so they can, smear and slander the black man the same way they try to smear and slander the black woman. This is always going to be true. They're always going to have attacks on foundational Black Americans, one way or another. And it's on us to, as Brother Afro said, call it out. And when you call it out, you got to call it out for real. Don't do it halfway, not 52, not 45 and a half, not 13%. You got to do the full 100. And it's cool because they always try to shame us. That's one thing about us. They always try to shame us from being real. It's like they want us to be fake. They want us to pretend, because the more we fake and the more we pretend, that plays into their hands. That plays into what they are trying to get across upon us. Once we start getting real and calling people out and saying, nah, that's wrong, we ain't having that, get the fuck up out of here. That's when you really start getting change. That's why we are seeing change. That's why things have changed. It's because foundational Black Americans, all of us, we have got to the point where we're not sitting there asking the Democratic Party to get their shit together. All this All Lives Matter, all these little fake phony groups, the Black and Brown Coalition, all these little groups out here, the leeches of color. We've told them, y'all lying. Y'all don't really have love for us. You guys are just faking. One of my principles is, and what I always say is that they like to stand next to us politically, and they like to stand away from us socially. Meaning, socially, they love to stay away from Black Americans. You can't even walk through their yard. If a 7-year-old Black kid, I mean, how many times do you see a 7 or 8-year-old Black kid getting attacked by a big grown-ass minority? How many times you see that? It happens all the damn time. That one guy who shot that little boy, the little Asian guy who shot that little boy, I want to say it might have been in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. They play that game. But when it comes to politics, then they want to start talking about people of color, all lives matter, because that gives them the opportunity to swoop in on any legislation that gets passed for us. Stand away from us socially, stand next to us politically. It's a con game and it's a hustle. And the fact that how I phrase it the way I do and the way I, put it into a frame so everybody can see exactly the type of bullshit, that gives us the opportunity to call them out. We've gotten rid of people of color. They really thought people of color was going to be the vibe. They really thought that, they were putting money behind that access. And it's to the point when you say people of color, that's an automatic disqualification when you're talking to an FBA. If you're standing there and somebody says, well, as a person of color, it's over, conversation done. Because now you just identified yourself as an op. And that's another thing. There are terms and words, key words that you could pick up on and see who an op is. And that's what we have to truly get into, is the era of identifying who the enemy is. We've already done that, but you could never be, great at that. You got to always keep sharpening that blade, getting more and more laser focused. There's never room to stop doing that, because they're going to always be changing their games. They're going to always be coming up with new tactics. So as they change, we got to change. So you got to watch for disqualifying words. People of color, minority, all lives matter. Can't we get along? Kumbaya, vote blue no matter who you love. Yes, we can. There's a whole laundry list of terms that they use only so they can infiltrate us, only so they can harm us, and only so they can derail us. Right now, as we were talking about, they're trying to use hate group and the xenophobia. They're using these words. In reality, they should be saying that about the dominant society, but they're saying that about us. And then they're snitching to the dominant society and going to tattletale. They're going to tethertail. This is what happens when you deal with these off-coded people. And we identify all their tricks, we identify all their tactics, and we make sure anytime that they try to run these games on us and they try to, knock us off our pivot and try to get us to fall for that, we identify it and we make sure it does not happen. And you each one teach one. So if somebody doesn't understand the terminologies, make sure they do. Because I'm going to tell you right now, anytime I've ever seen somebody in the Twitter space call in and say something about African American, I already know what time they're on. Anytime I see somebody say, well, all lives matter, I already know what time they're on. Anytime I see somebody start talking about go vote Democrat, I already know what time it was. That's what Luke did. Luke did the same thing. Luke came out and Luke started using our words because remember, there's terminology thieves. We're living in a world now where they sit back and they watch and they see the words that we use. They see our verbiage and they say, well, foundational Black Americans are saying that right there. Well, let me say that right there to get their attention and then shift. Luke came out and said, man, we need to stop the Democrats. The Democrats ain't did a damn thing for us. What we gonna do about it? 2 days later, he said, go vote for Stacey Abrams. 3 days later, he was exposed as a complete Democratic shill. This is why you got to watch what people say. You got to watch what people do. And if their words and their actions don't add up, that is an op. And it's on foundational Black Americans to identify it, expose it, and cancel it. Go ahead, Brother Afro.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. But you're definitely right about the terms. And I think it was last year or a couple years ago, I was given a lot of pushback to the people I like to call the pronoun people. I was in a space recently. This was, well, like at the beginning of the year. I was in a lot of different spaces, hearing a lot of different people talk. And there was somebody who was going off. He was, talking about the police and all that. I was like, man, this dude is really, spitting facts. This dude is telling the truth. And I go to his page and I saw, what is it? He, him or something like that. I don't know. And I'm all like, oh, well, nope, not going to follow this guy because I already know what type of page he's going to be on. Anybody who has pronouns in their bio, I'm just going to be real. Speaking of which, Nikki posted this. Little Uzi Vert's got pronouns in his bio now, too. So I don't know what he's on. But anybody who got pronouns in their damn bio, that's a red flag to me. Anybody who uses certain terms, people of color, that's a red flag. Well, Black and brown, that's a red flag. Minority, that's a red flag. Anytime y'all go out of your way to make a separation between Black men and Black women, and there's not enough political representation for Black women, at red flag. All of these things are red flag. Anytime you talk about pro-immigration, red flag, these are red flags. And we have to make sure that we recognize that, because what they'll do is they'll try to come in and they'll try to disrupt our movement from the inside. I call these, anytime I don't even argue with pronoun people. I just like, hey, you got pronouns in your bio. Clearly you're confused and there's no need to even talk to you. Anybody who got pronouns in their bio, she, him, whatever, like, we know your pronouns. The fact that you feel like you have to announce it means that you're confused. And I don't need to talk to confused people. So I'm pushing that forward. So you're definitely right. We do got to stay on these terms. If you guys have noticed, they're trying to really hide the Black and brown term. Like, they'll have Black people all in the headlines, all in the paragraphs, and then at the very last sentence, they'll be all like Black and brown, Black and people of color. They'll try to squeeze that in the very last bit of the article. But Foundation Black Americans, we're looking at all of the articles with a damn microphone, not a microphone, a magnifying glass. And the second we see something funny, we're like, oh, not legit. We're not allowing the Black and brown, none of those terms to get passed anymore. They're even trying to switch things up. I posted this article from CNN not too long ago where they was trying to talk about reparations. And I'm going to have to break that down on YouTube in the future. But something that they said is, well, reparations for the descendants of enslaved people. And I pointed that out. I'm like, nope. See, that's what they'll try to get you on. They'll try to make it seem like they're pro reparations, but when they switch the terms descendant of enslaved people, that creates room for other groups of people to come in. You can have Jamaicans. Well, technically, I'm an enslaved people too. So, I mean, my people were enslaved in Jamaica. It doesn't specify where the slavery was. You'll have damn white Irish people. excuse me, you'll have white Irish people come in and they'll talk about, well, technically, you know, indentured servitude, can't you really say that's slavery? And then we were slaves in Europe, so technically we deserve reparations. So we got to watch these terms because that's their avenue to create wiggle room and confusion among the group.
Hey, that's what I'm seeing the most, family. Yes, when it comes to reparations, oh my God, that's all they're trying to play on us. They're trying to make it about everything that allows everyone to get a dollar. You know, like we saying these $5 FBAs, everybody's, they're trying to extend what's blackness, because y'all know they love that. What's black? What could it be? What does foundation mean? And that's another thing. We don't have to enlighten any goddamn body. We don't have to. We just tell people where we're coming from, and they just gonna have to accept it or not, period. This thing where Black Americans feel we have to, you know, tell people where we're coming from and get them to understand our reparations claim. No, the fuck we don't. No, we don't, because nobody sat down and tried to counsel us when it came to giving money to the Ukrainians, to the Afghan refugees, to the people separated at the border by Trump. Nobody has ever counseled us on anything. So therefore, we don't need to counsel anybody on what we say. Only thing they need to do is shut up and cut the goddamn check. And we do that by making all the, you know, practices and all the actions that we're taking to get that done, because we already know what they want to do is give us a strong man argument and to stall us. As Brother Afro says, they just want to be contrarians. How many times have you guys seen us break things down verbatim, as clear as it can be broke down, and they're still saying, huh? What? I don't understand. What does that mean? What was? That type of shit. That's what they want to do to prevent us from getting any reparations, any tangible. It could be the smallest thing to be the biggest thing. At the end of the day, these are all aspects in which they're trying to deny foundational Black Americans what deserves, you know, to be on our table and what is rightfully ours. And then when you got all these people coming in from these other countries who want to get in, remember, these folks don't come here to be friends. They don't come here. That is an old, outdated myth that, you know, thankfully we've gotten rid of, and this era has canceled that. But Black folks used to believe that for years, that everyone was coming here to be friends. They're not coming here to be friends. First off, if you understand global supremacy, then you understand that these people come from anti-Black countries. And the anti-Black countries that they come from are actually countries that are older and predate the United States. So if somebody has a history of hundreds of years of anti-Black racism in their homeland, what make you think they're going to come over here and be friends with us? If somebody hates you on that side of the street, what makes you think they're going to have a change of heart and like you when they cross the street? When people come up from South America, when people come over from the diaspora because they got issues with their own self, remember, somebody hates their own self and they're Black, then that means they hate you too if you're Black. So this is what ends up going on when it comes to us. Everyone comes over here to get what's ours. They come over here to score brownie points with the dominant society. They understand they got to come down on us in order to get, you know, rows above. And this is why they're so shook right now, because they've spent so much time, energy, effort, money, dollars, currency to try to replace us with tethers. And we're resisting it. We're resisting it and we're not allowing it to happen. So that's got everybody shook to the point where they're saying, well, hold on now. You guys promised us that we could come over here and we could replace those foundational Black Americans, and it ain't going too easy for them. So this is why you're starting to see these desperation moves and these desperation tactics. It is all just a sign of things ain't going the way they planned. And it's our job to fuck up all the plans that they have. Only plans that really are important is the plans that we put on the table. It's our agenda, the Black agenda, the foundational Black agenda. If it's not that, then it doesn't concern us. So we have to watch out for these other groups. We got to watch out for these different terms and understand nobody's coming over here to be our friends. Nobody's coming over here to be a buddy of ours. Everybody's coming over here to get what we got. I mean, it's so sad that they're literally trying to stake claim to things that our ancestors created. And then they're trying to stake claim to things that we create. And then they're going to do the same thing in the future to the next generations. They have no shame. When you're dealing with a shameless, shameful, spineless person, do not be surprised what they come up with. They do not mind saying, hey, we created the country. Immigrants are running around here saying we built the country. That's a goddamn lie. They know that. You got people running around here saying they created hip hop music. That's a lie. All the inventions. I mean, if we pulled out a list of the inventions that foundational Black Americans created, we'd have to take 3 days to read it all off because there's that many. But according to the buffer class and to the tethers, they created it all. They created every last invention. They built the country. They're responsible for our culture. They literally leave us with nothing, with empty pockets, because what they are, they're thieves. They're cultural thieves. They're reparations thieves. That's what they do. They're squatters. It's no different than somebody goes in a house that ain't theirs. They got their little tether blanket and their little tether pillow, and they try to lay in your home and try to stake claim to what's yours. That's what they try to do to us. They come over here with no smoke for the dominant society. The dominant society could be literally busting them across the head, and instead of looking back at them, they point the finger at us. This is what you are dealing with when you're dealing with people from a backstabbing culture. This is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with people who have vitriol for foundational Black Americans. And this is what you deal with when you deal with people who understand no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter how many con games they can fathom or possibly come up with, it does not change the course of history. And the course of history is slanting to the foundational Black American side, and it's always been that way. Matrix, I don't know if you wanted something to say. I see you still on the stage.
Oh, no, I didn't have nothing to say. I'm good. I'm just listening and enjoying the conversation.
Yes, indeed. We're still having issues with people trying to come up and speak, because I literally have in my panel, it says I have 5 to 6 requests to speak, but I can't see them. So if somebody's trying to request to speak, just go ahead and DM me and I'll invite you to speak, and I'll take a shortcut around it. But this is to the point. It just proves what we're talking about, y'all. If it comes down to Twitter spaces, and they're trying to prevent us and put all these blockades, you could have these Twitter spaces with people saying all types of reckless shit. I've seen them, and those Twitter spaces go off without a hitch. Everything is good. Once we get on there and we start talking about anything of Black empowerment or Black advancement, it starts glitching, skipping, requests don't come in, and they play these games, and it happens all the time when it comes to foundational Black Americans. But that is a microcosm of what we're dealing with as a whole country. You can see it as a microcosm. The same way that they try to, put hurdles in front of us and blockades in front of us socially, politically, it's from the top to the bottom. It's from pillar to post. So if we deal with this here, we deal with it everywhere. But this is what you have to come to expect. And it's all good. That's all good. I'm FBA. I like it hard. I don't give a damn. I don't want the easy route. I'm not trying to take no shortcuts. I'm not fleeing. I'm not running. I'm not trying to take the easy path to success. No, we're going to do it the hard way, but we're going to make it good. So at the end of the day, any type of thing that they put in front of us, whether it's here on Twitter Spaces, whether it's trying to get tangibles, resources, reparations passed, understand that they're going to always come with some bullshit. But also understand that we're going to always knock that bullshit to the curb and get what's ours. Go ahead, brother Afro.
Thank you. I said this before, I think in another Twitter space. I said, if there is one group of people in the world who can turn lemons into lemonade, that's foundational Black Americans. We defeat the odds every time. It's almost unreal how we can defeat the odds. We had literal millionaires a generation after chattel slavery. We were fighting against a whole country that's been against us, a whole world. We literally had wars in this country that a lot of people don't want to talk about, like the Seminole Wars. We had stuff that people don't want to talk about and people don't want to acknowledge. We've had inventions that people don't want to acknowledge, things that we've done that people don't want to acknowledge, but we've always been against the grain. Everybody's been against us, and we've always come out on top, and we will come out on top this time. Especially right now, because everybody's getting on code. Everybody's realizing what really needs to be done, what really needs to be focused on, and everybody's doing what they can do to the best of the ability that they have to do it, and everybody's making sure that that gets done. So I want to salute everybody in this room. I know we've had some issues getting people up. I'm not sure what the issue is, but that's just how Twitter Spaces act. That's just how Twitter Spaces are. I mean, we already know what it is. We already know that there's somebody who controls the algorithms, who controls the Twitter Spaces. We know that because if we say certain things, the Twitter Space can get just completely shut down. So we know there's somebody who watches the Twitter Spaces and monitors things that we say. And when we say things that they don't want us to say, that stuff gets shut down. But we still have to say it anyway, and we still will say it anyway, because it's our responsibility to make sure that the world is changed for the next generation. And it's not an easy task. And this goes back to what our brother Vovo was saying. It's not an easy. The right side of history is unfortunately a very lonely side. It's a side with few friends and many enemies. But that's the path we walk because we're on this planet to do so. We've been chosen to do so. So I want to thank all of our brothers and sisters for moving in the path of righteousness and doing what we're supposed to do.
Big facts. And I got a slight little thing I want to tell everybody right now. Since we are putting out this FBA energy, and it is all eyes on FBA, there's a shill out there, a Democratic shill. He goes by the name of Luke. Okay. And he's got a little space going on, right? I'm sorry. I got to be how I am. Black Alpha Network, uncut, unfiltered. Y'all know me. Anybody subscribes to me, y'all know how I get down. I don't give a fuck. I keep it all the way real. Luke has a little space going on right now. And I just checked and he's got 109 people in there. When I look at our space right now, we got 161 people in there. So AKA we beating their ass as always. And this is what happens. You can't put no shield up against foundational Black America. Mind you now, I ain't never been on national television. We ain't never had no goddamn Democratic Party paying us on the low, sliding us a couple dollars here or there, none of that stuff. This is me, my brother Afro Elite, Queen Alpha. These are real grassroots Black foundationals who are really holding it down. And this is everybody in this space and everybody in this room. And it goes to show you, no matter how much money, no matter how much subsidies they receive, no matter how many little trinkets and butter biscuits with frosting on them or cold butter biscuits or whatever they're getting, it does not matter when you got the will of the people. The people will always show you. Dr. Huey P. Newton, he said it best. He said the people will be the ones who dictate and determine everything. And it's clear right now, the people being us, being foundational Black Americans, we are the ones who are controlling everything. We are the ones who are making all the moves and nobody moves until we say so. And it's a beautiful time to be alive. If there's ever been an era where it is great to be a foundational Black American family, it is today. It is today. And I want everybody to do that on both me and Brother Afro Elite's YouTube channels and right here on our Twitter pages. We do a lot of celebrating because there's a lot of things that we can point to and be down about and be upset about. Nah, we ain't got time for that stuff. We got only time for foundational Black Americans to be what we are, and that's great. So if you guys ever listen to us, there's one common denominator in all of our spaces. They're fun. They're fun. They're exciting. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of genuine energy going out there, but we have a good ass time. And you got to understand, like Brother Afro just said, you know, they gave us lemons. We made lemonade. Black folks right here, us, our lineage, we have had fun. We've smiled throughout the face of everything. No matter how bad things have gotten, no matter how bad our situations have been, no matter what has happened, we always found time to get around it. We always found time to do it, but we do it with style. And that's what separates FBAs from everybody. No matter what it is, if we fall down, we get back up. We wipe ourselves off and we smile. And we continue to have that real, genuine, sincere energy. So for all the Black mainstream out there that are being paid off to divert us, to derail us, to railroad us, to humbug us, or whatever they're trying to do to prevent this foundational Black American grassroots movement, they're failing. They're failing. They could all sit their ass down and go over there and have a seat with the losers, because right here, we're winners. We're at the boss's table. We're in the winner's circle. We're going to continue to do that. So that's why when I look at Luke's bullshit ass little whatever the fuck he got going on over there, they got, you know, a couple people in it and a bunch of coons, and we got a whole lot of people and a bunch of certifieds. Therefore, they lose, we win, but it's always been that way when you're foundational Black Americans. So with that said, everybody, I'm going to close up because I know Sunday, people got to get ready to go to work, you know, tomorrow. Shout out to my brother Afro Elite. Shout out to everybody who spoke through all the glitches and stuff. We already knew what that was, but, you know, we brushed that shit off. Easy work. Destination is to the top. Destination is reparations. I can't wait to see everybody at the Foundational Black American Rally when that gets together. You have two people right here on the panel, as well as my brother Beatzilla. We're going to be there, and we want to see you guys there. Definitely, because this is about all of us, man. So let's get together and let's build and let's keep everything going. Business-wise, we got business deals or anything we want to do. Let's make it more than just, you know, a celebration of being there. Let's also make it a celebration of everybody being on the same page and networking with each other and building something even stronger than what we have right now today. So I send that out to everybody. You guys stay safe, stay real, stay vigilant. I'm going to let Brother Afro close it out. But everybody out there, man, you guys stay real. Look out for each other. Stand next to your brothers, your sisters, man. Make sure whatever happens, we're in this together, and know that the Black grassroots is untouchable. And no matter what they do, they got two choices. They can give that shit up or they can get it took. With that said, I'm out. Brother Afro, you can bring us home, family.
I want to thank you, Black Alpha, for having this space. When he DM'd me about this space a couple of days ago, I said, this is going to be a genius space. This is definitely going to be the space of the weekend right here. We definitely need to have this space. And we've had some technical difficulties, and that's to be expected, because they don't want us to talk about what we're talking about right now. You have, wasn't Luke Campbell? He is the Democratic shield who's been famous for I don't know how long, and we're beating him. When I tell you guys, don't underestimate yourself, don't underestimate your power and intelligence. I literally want you guys to think you have certified psychologists and doctors and stuff that we're more intelligent than. that if you go into a debate, I've seen videos with brother Rizza Islam. He's not a certified doctor, but he's going back and forth with actual doctors and making them look stupid. We can go back and forth with quote unquote certified historians and talk about our indigenous heritage and make them look stupid. We can go back and forth with certified lawyers and make them look stupid. So I don't want you guys to underestimate your power. I don't want you guys to underestimate your intelligence. I don't want you guys to underestimate the fact that you're on the right side of history and your righteousness either. So salute to every single last one of you guys who've been in the room. Salute to all of the speakers in here. If you guys like content like this, I definitely encourage you guys to go follow Black Alpha. Go check out his YouTube channel. You can check out my YouTube channel as well too. We've done collaborations before and many more to come. I hope to see you guys at the rally as well too, because we're going to be out there supporting our FBA cause. We're going to be out there making history and changing the future. And with that, I land. You all have a good rest of your night.